That's right, I see the chat. I see y'all rocking. I see y'all coming. Hit that like button as you enter the building. You know what I'm saying? Hit that like button. Show your love. Show your support. You know what I'm saying? This that dope soul. This that new thing. Nobody don't know about it.
Hello, Knick family. Welcome to the Just Knickin' It Weekly Show. I'm your host, Stephanie, a.k.a. Queen, joined by I Am Jerrell. Welcome back, big fella. We missed you. Geoff Klafter from the Happily Ever Klafter Daily Sports blog. Knick Nation, stolen property from Knicks Real Talk. Appreciate you. A lot to talk about. You know, then Saturday, the Knicks play the Atlanta Hawks. First game of the quarterfinals at MSG. And I don't know if there's anybody as hyped as I am to have the regular season end.
Yep.
And the playoffs begin. We have a lot. Look at this. Look at this ish. Look at this. Always gotta make it interest. Like we waited 6 hours for him, and he comes in at 6:03. Okay.
At least you ain't green today.
You got to do that thing again, Steph, where you put him on camera by himself.
Right. Welcome, Ajay, to the show.
Guys, hello.
We was just going through just the introduction to the show. A lot to talk about. The first thing I want to do is I want to start with talking about this series statistically and stylistically. So I have just a few slides, not 50 like Ajay said. You're gonna have 50 slides for like 3 slides for tonight, and then we'll get into the major storylines surrounding, this series. Cat, Brunson, Wingstop, the bench, Mike Brown. We get to talk about all of that tonight, and it seems like we haven't been on the panel in like 2 weeks. I was thinking about calling Geoff to do a small recap of, lunchtime live, like recap, but today was like one of the worst days of the year. So I'm glad I didn't. But anyway, let's get into it. How's everybody doing? And just give me, just your quick initial thoughts about the regular season ending and the upcoming playoffs. Jerrell?
Salute to everybody. Happy to be here. Salute to the chat. I am so happy that this season is over. I think we're at the point that since we're like perennial playoff team, it gets a little boring in the regular season. Like we already knew we was going to the playoffs, like right. We're good enough. So it's just I don't know, maybe a breath of fresh air. It almost seems like another season has started. Like we can just put all that stuff behind us, at least the negative stuff, and we get to, head to Atlanta and BTA to them and go to the second round. Like I don't have any worry about Atlanta, at least not yet, like not this year.
Yeah. I'm with you on that. Geoff?
Well, first of all, I hope I remember how to do this. I feel like I hadn't been on with y'all in I know it's only been like 2 weeks, but I don't know if it's dog years or whatever, but it feels like it's been a lot longer than that.
That's right, because Ajay and I did the show so it's been about 2 weeks for some. Okay,
yeah, so I've been missing y'all like crazy, so it's good to be back and talking about the Knicks. But I guess it was a good time for a break because there wasn't a whole lot going on. Like it was just playing out the string and so forth, and I just hope Atlanta gets what's coming to them. They asked for the Knicks, and I hope we give it to them. Like they planned out their strategy. They rested their players so they could get New York. Well, hopefully we show them that was a miscalculation. That's really what I'm hoping to see. A lot of interesting matchups that we'll talk about, but I'm really hoping that we take care of business and come out strong on Saturday.
Yeah. Ajay?
Well, salute to you guys, and it's good to be here with a full panel. Like Queen mentioned, we did the show last week, so it's only been a week. Geoff's been 2 weeks. Knick Nation, I feel like probably about 3 weeks. Jerrell, haven't seen Jerrell since the Super Bowl. I haven't seen Jerrell since Super Bowl.
It's the Super Bowl.
Welcome back, brother. I mean, listen, like everybody mentioned, man, Queen, and I enjoy every game, even when it's dull, even when it's boring. But yeah, man, I wanted it all to be I wanted to see the playoffs start. Like, that last game, I was actually at the game on Sunday.
Wow.
Yes, it's really for the kids. Like they nobody was gonna start. It wasn't gonna be a competitive game, even though the first quarter or so we played, and then after that it didn't mean anything to us, but it meant everything to Charlotte Hornets. So, but it was a thing. Yeah, anytime you go to MSG, it's always fun.
Yeah.
But couldn't wait for it to get started, man. And let's talk about this Atlanta series coming up.
Nick Nation.
Yes, good evening to everybody out there in the chat, to the panel for sure. Yeah, it's only been 2 weeks. Yeah, I'm happy it's over. The finality of it, this is like, waiting to see, you're on the street corner and somebody's making a character of you. You're happy, you're waiting there, you stand there for a moment or two, or 5 or 10, and then you wait, you're happy it's over. So right now I'm happy that this drawing is over, and let's see what's going to be on the other side, because Mike Brown had me in circles for a while, had me a little tight, but hey, all is washed if he can, come up with some solid game plan. So right now, all his sins are cleansed, and the teams, and it's all pure here. Let's see what we can do. I'm ready.
Yeah. I mean, so let's get right into it. I want to talk about these teams before we get into the storyline surrounding this team. I just want to get a sense of, we kind of know who the Knicks are, offensively, defensively, stylistically, how they like to play. We want to get up as many threes as possible. We want to, second chance points, not turn the ball over. It's a certain way we like to play. So we'll get a sense of Atlanta as well. The first thing I want to do, though, is issue an apology to Freezy and Delusional. I argued them down tooth and nail that there was no way in hell this Knicks team would be a top 10 defense ever. Like, this is just this team. Do you see this team? Do you see the people on this team? And I think, was it Freezy or Delusional said top 5, and I think I almost blew a gasket. I was like, oh, now you trolling. Like, if we can get to 12, I'll be happy. And the Knicks went out there and did the damn thing. Now, Mike Brown tightened up some rotations. He was able to get some buy-in from Brunson and Cat to at least, particularly from Cat, just do what you can. At least get where be where you're supposed to be. Changed up some things schematically. Had Clarkson now playing, really good defense. And the Knicks ended the season top 7. So my apologies to those two, and kudos to the Knicks. I'm not wrong often. No, I'm kidding.
That's true. That's a fact. We were around enough to know that.
No, that's not true. But all right, let's get into just a little bit of stuff. We got something for everybody. But I do think it's important to get a sense of who we're playing. So we already know, the Knicks 53-29 on the season, 46-36 for Atlanta. The last 10, I'm not going to say they came limping into the playoffs, but over their last 10, 6-4. The Knicks offensive rating for the season, 4th, defensive rating 7th, net rating 5. Like, historically, when you look at teams that have won the championship, that's the profile, right? Top 10 in those areas. Atlanta 14th offense, 10th defense, 12th net rating. I did not do pre and post Trae Young, but this is just that overview. This is actually what I think is more interesting. The Knicks defense versus Atlanta's offense, because this gives a sense of what they like to do and whether or not, at least throughout the course of the season, we kind of built, for that. And what I thought was interesting was that Atlanta shoots 38.3 threes a game. So in terms of the profile between how many threes and twos a team shoots, it's about equal between between both of them. Same amount, like, so it's not like one team is more of a paint team, the other team is more of a 3-point shooting team. The percentages between the teams is pretty much even in terms of the percentage of shots they take in the paint or non-threes and the percentage of threes, pretty much the same. But this is where I'm a little concerned. They shoot 37.1% from the 3-point line, and the Knicks are 20th in 3-point defense. And we've watched the Knicks this season. There was a time where I thought it was better, and statistically, it had gotten better, and then it seemed like they just let loose of the rope, and it's not that great. And so it's going to be interesting to see if the Knicks can do anything to decrease the amount of attempts they take, do anything to contest their shots, and they're fifth in 3-point percentage. So I thought that was interesting. And fast break points, they're third in the league in fast break points, 18.1 fast break points per game. But the Knicks defensively do really good in terms of limiting teams' fast break points. They're sixth in the league. They give up 14. Atlanta scores 18. It's going to be interesting to see what wins out as far as that's concerned. And points off turnovers. This is a strong, long, athletic team. They're third in points off turnovers. The Knicks don't turn the ball over a lot, thank goodness. But if you do, they're going to capitalize off of it. Almost 21 points they get off of turnovers. The Knicks are pretty good in limiting points off turnovers. They're sixth. We'll see how that plays out. Anything else that you guys find interesting or anything you want to comment as far as that's concerned?
Well, I think with Atlanta, it's not just that they score well off of turnovers. They actually attack really well, even when you haven't turned the ball over. So it's going to be incumbent upon the Knicks to really get back. And it's, in those situations, not that this has ever happened before, but if, let's say, Karl-Anthony Towns drove the lane really hard and went into the third row and is, getting a picture with the cameraman, they're going to be 5-on-4 the other way. For an easy one. So you really have to do a good job about even on makes, getting back and protecting on the defensive end. I think that's going to be a big key to the series is the Knicks guarding in transition, not just off of turnovers but also off of misses and even off of makes, really making sure that we're getting back defensively.
Having watched the Knicks this season, do you think they can and will turn up the 3-point defense? Because I think that's going to be important against this team. Obviously now they can just have a bad shooting series, but if you're just going to allow them to get as many threes as they want, shoot it at a good percentage, even though we have Towns and that's a mismatch, that could turn the series.
It could. I think that I'll be interested to see how it game plans, because Dyson Daniels is not a particularly good 3-point shooter. I mean, not that you want to leave anybody wide open, but he's been one of, I think, percentage-wise, one of the worst 3-point field goal people in the league. So, from that standpoint, I think maybe you can focus on that a little bit more. If you're going to help, and I don't like it when the Knicks help. I much prefer when we just switch and live with the results. But if we can, attack closeout strong and like I said, not overhelp and stay with our man as much as possible, I think that will be okay. I think it'll improve some. And again, we get to focus on what Atlanta does, and I'm sure they've been working on it for a week, specifically working on things they can do to limit their 3-point touches and those sorts of things. So I think that they can.
Yeah. What I find interesting here is, other than 3-point percentage and 3-point attempts, and not that it's not important, it really is, the Knicks are top 10 and like a lot of categories, like limiting points in the paint, opposition points in the paint, they're third. Limiting opponents' fast break points, they're sixth. Limiting opponents' second chance points, they're first. Limiting points off turnovers, they're sixth. Like this team is really, and opponent field goal percentage, 46%. This team is really, it's really been an about face defensively. It's really been an about face defensively. And the thing about it though is, even seeing these numbers, and maybe I'm alone, I'm not going in there like super confident defensively, because I still feel like, even though this is what the stats is saying, I still feel like, okay. Yeah, but I've watched this team all season. Let's see how they show up. Let's see which one shows up. But statistically, looking at this, they are a very good defensive team.
It's kind of hard to believe, especially since we did a lot of that without Deuce.
Yeah.
But then again, like we talk about how Mitch isn't available. Mitch was available all year. Don't get me wrong, he didn't play like back-to-backs and stuff like that, but knock on wood, he remained healthy all year. That was a big help too. Yeah.
Knock on wood. So let's just reverse it and talk about the Knicks offense versus Atlanta's defense. And the Knicks are, the Knicks are fourth in 3-point percentage, and they're 12th in 3-point defense. So both ways, I think the 3-point shooting is going to have an impact in this game. And second chance points, the Knicks average 16.3 second chance points. Atlanta's defense only gives up 14.4. That's a big part of our game plan as well. So they're up to the task defensively in terms of what we like to do best. 3-point shooting and second chance points is going to be interesting to see how that plays out. Anything here before we move into the narrative?
For me, on both slides, for me, the ground difference will be what we see after, game 1, game 2, game 3, to see what his game plan is to make some of those numbers, askew in that sense, because this is what we want to see and analyze. I get what you're showing us, but to me, we'll kind of have more of a real ground of it, because if what his game plan is, hopefully it is at some point to take away some of their strengths or to reroute it. But, you're not going to stop somebody and, fully but alter what they do. So I'm really interested to come back and match these numbers after games, to, when they, both teams begin to make their adjustments, to see where we can stay steadily at and slow them down at. And hopefully he has a strong game plan where it's something where I think that, they can't overcome. But as far as us on defense, what I do worry about is somebody coming up with a game plan that kind of more isolates us, where as a isolated defender, we have 2 solid defenders in our starting unit. And then at times we could have very much 3 suspect defenders. And if they're isolated in certain ways, and depending on what matchups they are, this is where I want to understand is, can we, hold on? As a team, we are rated like that, but isolated defenders, I don't see us. It's what you say and why you thought that this team would never really be, ranked in the top 10, is because it's the scheme for the most part. But isolation on some of these guys, no. That I worry about.
The thing about it is that's how defense is played as a team. So I get what you're saying. There may be individual matchups where absolutely a defender on our team can't hold that guy, right? And you can argue that it's hard to hold anybody, but it is a team, right? It is the scheme, and it is the execution of the scheme, and it is the buy-in of the scheme. The other thing I'll add is this just shows what they like to do. But so you get a sense of what they're trying to do, but then it's on Mike Brown to make it difficult for them. Like, we know that this team is third on points off turnovers, right? And so I'm pretty sure there's going to be an emphasis on not turning the ball over. And then if you do turn the ball over, maybe it's not just get back, but this is when there's a turnover, this is how they like to attack it to score. And this is what we need to do specifically to limit their points when we do turnover, right? So this is just what they like to do. But you're right. Everybody knows what every other team likes to do. It comes down to, when they take that away, what else do you have? Because that's what they're going to do. They know that the Knicks love to eat off of second chance points. They're a really good defensive team. I mean, they're 10th in the league, but again, only giving up 14.4 second chance points per game. They may not have to do that much more different to limit the Knicks' second chance points. And if they're able to do that severely, and then our 3-point shots aren't falling, I mean, there's only but so much Cat can do to make up for lack of 3-point shooting, lack of second chance points. So my point is, this just tells us what they like to do. It's going to be on Mike Brown and the team to take that away. They know what we like to do. They're going to try to take that away, and we're going to have to, figure out a way to win. Like, that's playoff basketball right there. There's no secrets. I know there's some people's like, oh, we shouldn't show them this. We shouldn't show them that. We should whip that out. You can whip it out. You might get a bucket, but adjustments are going to be made. Like, there's just no surprises in the playoffs. That's just what it is. All right. Anything else?
Well, I am kind of curious, and maybe it's too soon for this, and if it is, we can table it till later. But I am kind of curious if Atlanta is going to continue to guard Towns with the center and guard Brunson straight up with Daniels, because that seemed to be their solution to everything during the season. I mean, I guess Cat missed, I think, the one game that we lost to them, but it seemed to be more possessions where they tried to guard those two guys one-on-one and just kind of let everybody else do whatever, but they was really confident and comfortable with Brunson having to deal with Daniels, and then and then you deal Cat one-on-one with the center, which hasn't been a good matchup for anybody this year. When Cat's matched up with a center, he tends to go off. And so I'm wondering if they continue that strategy for the playoffs, or if they, go the Oklahoma City Thunder route and put someone smaller, on him and more of what's given us problems, or if they just stick with their guns defensively. I'm curious about, but what the coach Snyder decides to do about that.
And I'm curious about what our answer is going to be, because the margins are slim in the playoffs. So if they put a center on Cat and we're not going to Cat, then we're leaving points on the board, right? If they put a small on Cat and we're not going to Cat in the post, or they double Cat and Cat for whatever reason is not, passing the ball out, and he's forcing. You understand? So it's definitely what they're doing, but I'm more interested in how quick are we to recognize it and respond to it, because that's been my issue with this Knicks team. Their process to me just seems to be either slow or missing, or maybe I'm just thinking different than they're thinking. I'm thinking like, oh, there's a mismatch, go right to it. And the game plan maybe is something different that I'm not aware of. So that's what I'm really, really looking for. What's the game plan? What's the execution? What advantage do we have? And are we taking advantage of it because the margins are slim?
Absolutely.
Yeah, I think that has been the problem with us all season, and a little bit of last year too. Yeah, that's just our problem. That's our identity from that. Like, there's been two coaches. Like that wasn't a Tibbs thing. Like it's in the Mike Brown also. So maybe it's a player thing, but it's obviously been a problem.
Yeah.
I think these guys will step up. I think they'll recognize sometime, you know what I mean? Like they say, when you get a mouse in the house with Towns and immediately get it off to him quickly. I think they've talked about this and hopefully they've kind of, rectified it. It looks like it has progressed to that because even, you know what I mean? We didn't think that in these last couple of games that they, were peppered in at the end here for him to really start to pick and roll at game 78, you know what I mean? Like it's weird, but we did see that at least the touch of it. And hopefully, when they go here into practice, this whole week, that has been refined. I'm hoping and praying, you know what I mean? That Mr. Brown, it will come through for us. So,
I mean, from what I understand, this was a Cat and Brunson thing. But hopefully the coaching staff saw, how effective it was or how effective it could be. And, they kind of worked on it in this, 25 days they've had off between the end of the season. But talk about this team, how topsy-turvy they've been. We've had high-level wins. We've had head-scratching losses. We've had, whatever you want to call it. But in the playoffs, you need consistency, you need execution, and you need discipline. Again, because the margins are slim. Where are you with the Knicks as far as that's concerned? Like, do you have a good feeling about this team that those inconsistencies are a thing of the past, particularly with how we won the last 2 games before the end of the end of the season? Are you still uneasy and unsure, Knick Nation?
Oh, I'm definitely uneasy. I'm just a little bit uneasy. I like the way that we at least recognized our flaws and addressed what we could with them. But I'm a little lopsided on Leon for not addressing it personnel-wise. I think that the absence on the second unit, he hasn't really fully come through. I think that there could have been a lot. There's a lot of other players or, size differentials where I'm not a fan of. I'm not a fan of a whole second unit besides Mitch. You know what I mean? Being 6'4", 6'3", 6, pepper me in somebody that, that will be coming off the bench that's in the range of 6'6" and up, and it doesn't really happen much for us. Not a player that we could count on in that sense, or one that they have confidence in. So we could like Jeremy Sohan and think that was named. We could like Diawara, but I don't see Mike Brown having that full confidence in them, especially to come into the point of the playoffs. So with that being said, that's my one point of where I think that we could have addressed that a lot better, and it just hasn't.
Okay. Anybody else have issues with the roster? Feel like if the Knicks that's a sore point for the Knicks coming into at least this series?
There's nothing we could do about it now, but I think for the past 2 seasons I've been complaining about we don't have a real power forward, like a true power forward. And I think that's what Knick Nation's saying, pretty much saying, whether coming off the bench or just being available. I mean, we just don't have that on the roster.
Do you want a traditional pure power forward to play against Jalen Brunson? Because I don't. I think I'd much rather have someone like OG Anunoby at the 4 spot for this specific matchup. I'm not saying in general against other teams, but I just think against this Hawks team, I think that having OG Anunoby at the 4 is much better than having someone who's more plodding and slow. Let's be honest, Jalen Brunson is really, really good, guys. He is the 3rd best player in this series, but it isn't by that much. I'm going to give Brunson. I'm a homer too, so I'm putting Brunson and Cat 1 and 2. But it may be 1A, 1B, and 1C. That's how good this Jalen Johnson kid is. So I don't
What's
think
your
we want the
definition?
slow plotting big to.
So why do you define that? Why do you define where we're saying as far as a power forward? Why do you initially assign him to being slow plotting and things like that?
Because we already have one of the other archetype, and his name is OG Anunoby. And like he's a little bit small, but we have Josh Hart who does a lot of the same things. That's a smaller player and archetype. So what are you talking about? If you want something different,
because it's not it. Because we can register a guy that's still 6'9", 6'10", that still moves and has the length and the swift ability, which still more registers more toward a power forward.
If you want that, Mo Diawara is on the bench too, and he's that archetype as well.
But just as I said, there's no point of a confidence point that the coach probably will show in him to have him into the point of the playoffs. So therefore, it may have him, but not have him. So if Leon was doing that, because this is what we recognize, this point of going to a championship team, you knew then that you're going to probably need somebody in the playoff points that coach can feel secure in and have confidence in that, hey, I can send that guy in and, hey, he can do this and do that. What we got was a poor Jeremy Sohan, who you don't like, and who Sohan is because he can't score. He doesn't have the offensive point of the skill point to the game. He may do what's names, but it's not something that this coach, as we can see, doesn't have confidence in it. So that's what we're asking for.
But
I don't think that's too much.
I think it is. I'll say it this way. Who is that player? Because I think it's easy to sit here, and I've done it as well, right? This is the type of point guard that I want besides Brunson. This is the type of wing that I want. But who's out there? Like, none of these rosters in the NBA are perfect. All of these rosters have some sort of deficiency. And I'm not sure what Leon Rose could have done. Everybody wants a 6'10" power forward that can shoot the three and move and defend. Everybody wants that. But who is that guy that Leon Rose had the opportunity to get and didn't go out and get? The other thing I'll say is, for this particular series, Jalen Johnson is the power forward. I'm good with OG Anunoby on Jalen Johnson. I'm good with that. Like, maybe there'll be another series where we need another type of, like Geoff said, archetype come off behind, OG, or can play with OG. That would be ideal. But do you really think that's going to hurt us? Not having that person against Jalen Johnson is going to hurt us?
For me, I think that I look at it like this. OG is our power forward. OG at times is a toothpick or a nail, a fingernail away from being on the side of that bench, because he definitely has a history of being injured. What are we doing then? One. Secondly, when you discuss about being as far as power forwards in a sense and clumpy in a sense, that's how we use it, because we still use that point. We use Karl-Anthony Towns as a power forward. But that, to me, still is not a point of a traditional power forward, or a power forward in these times that has the range to guard center, power forward, small forward. That's what we're looking for.
OG, though. You don't think OG can do that?
Yeah, but as we said, we were discussing the point of the second unit. Give me somebody on the second unit that you're going to feel comfortable with, that's in the power forward position in that scheme or in coming in.
Honestly, you could say that about every team in the league, damn near, though.
Yeah.
Like, who on the Hawks? Like, your archetype on the Hawks coming off the bench, who is that?
What position are we talking about? Because they even got late in the Kuminga, because Kuminga can play quite a different points of positions.
But to your archetype, to your logic, he is not a traditional power forward, though. So who is their traditional power forward?
But he's a party who we could say that, yeah. Okay. Who, to me, it's like this. Who, to me, that we have set right now that is at least 6'6" coming off of our bench? We don't have that, one. Secondly, what's the here? We don't have anybody who, if this goes, you know what I mean? We got to pray for the best point of health, but we don't have anybody anywhere in that range that we have point of confidence in. That's the point of the floor point in the roster. That's on Leon. Leon gets paid a lot of money to identify these players, and he has a whole team and a whole what's name is to identify what's name's players. He's done a poor job of that. There's no way around that.
Yeah. Well, I will say this. Let's wait and see if it becomes an issue. Because right now we're forecasting that it will become an issue. Let's wait for it to become an issue, where the reason why we lost the series is because we didn't have a traditional power forward to come off the bench. If we lose the series, I don't think that's going to be the reason why. Quite
it's
frankly,
not even a power forward. We don't really have a traditional point of a small forward even coming off.
We don't. Yeah, no, I agree with you. We don't have a lot of size. I don't think that's going to be an issue in this series. We shall see.
And we like to play 3-guard lineups. I know you don't like it. I know JJ doesn't like it, but the Knicks like the 3-guard lineup. And so that means that you'll have situations with Josh Hart at the 4. You may even see us go double big sometimes with Towns at the 4, in which case you've got Mitchell Robinson next to him if they decide to go
and
big.
They do that with the 3 guards, Geoff.
Yeah.
The double big lineup a lot of times with those 3 guards.
So, and we're not talking about a ton of minutes here, I don't think, because OG's probably going to be playing 36, 38 minutes. Did you see the numbers in the for the minutes played and the play-in games? You're talking guys play 42, 43 minutes. So I don't think there's going to be a ton of minutes out there that OG is not on the floor. And in those that he's not, I'm probably going to either have a double big lineup where you have Cat and Robinson, or you're going to have a smaller lineup that maybe have Josh Hart at the 4 against reserves, but not against Jalen Johnson. I would be shocked if when Jalen is on the floor that OG isn't dogging his tracks and telling us what flavor chewing gum he is.
I mean, I hear that we're small, but we've been small all season. And we are the number 1 defensive team in the, excuse me, not the number 1. We're one of the top rebounding teams, in the country, in the NBA. Let's just wait for it to become a problem. Let's wait for it to become, to become a problem. And, Leon Rose will definitely get his, depending on how this ends up, when we talk about the construction of the team and what we need going forward for the second, in the off season. Anybody else have any other concerns about the Knicks inconsistencies or consistencies going into the playoffs?
I want to say something real quick, and I know you guys probably brushed up on it a little bit. I am worried about the 3-point defense situation, like really worried about that. The last time we played the Hawks, right? Before the show, one thing I mentioned is this guy, Nickeil Alexander-Walker, he's having a hell of a season. Scoring wise, shooting wise, like he's gone berserk from 3 points, from 3-point territory. And sure enough, that game, he almost single-handedly delusional. He almost single-handedly beat the Knicks. All right. And I think going into the playoffs, he's going to be a problem, but not just him. I expect what's the name of that coach again?
Schneider.
I expect Coach Schneider to throw in some wrinkles that like stuff he doesn't normally do, because they have guys coming off the bench that that are historically problem for the Knicks, and that could wreak havoc against a team like our team who don't defend the 3-point line very well. Okay. I mean, they got Buddy Hield coming off that bench. Yeah, I know he's 100 years old, but he could shoot the 3 with his eyes closed. So this guy never gets any time. I guarantee you he's going to get a good amount of playing time with the Knicks when they need a couple of buckets here and there. They got guys like Corey Kispert, guys who have great 3-point guys who shoot really well from 3. Even CJ McCollum, he's not a great 3-point shooter, but he can shoot the three. I'm worried about that because those are guys who can, we're looking at Jalen Johnson. We're looking at Nickeil Alexander-Walker, the Okwangu, like the usual suspects. But I think it's just those guys that we don't expect are going to come off and just going to go off and have big games in the series because we don't guard the 3-point line well.
There's been games when we have. There's been, games when we haven't. I just believe the Knicks will. I think they will be better. I mean, listen, that's a point of emphasis. This is a good 3-point shooting team, right? They mirror the Knicks in terms of 3-point attempts and 3-point percentage. The Knicks are aware of that. So I would think that the Knicks will be up to the task if they want to win the series. I just don't. I mean, I get what you're saying. This is what the Knicks have been, but I think the question is, do you expect that will continue? And I just think the Knicks will be better defending the 3-point line in the playoffs. And maybe I'm being a homer. Maybe this is just wishful thinking. I just think the Knicks will be better in that regard.
Me too, Steph. Stop kicking me out.
No. Oh God. Appreciate you, Latoria, joining us. Docosaurus, appreciate you. Nick Yak, size 9. Thomas Lynch, I appreciate you. Seems to be a Hawk fan, but you are welcome. Wolverine, 1986. Appreciate you again. Rafa as well. Rafa, I appreciate you. Keith Turner in the house. JJ. Appreciate you. The other thing I wanted to talk about before we get to Cat, that's the you know what? Let's just move into Cat. Let's move into the big fella because I think he's the ceiling raiser for this team. When we're using him and he's at his best, the Knicks are just a different team. The offense opens up, the spacing improves, the Knicks look elite. When we're not going to him or we're not hitting shots or he's not at his best, the offense gets stuck. The team looks average. Talk to me about Cat and his role in this series. And do you have faith and belief that the Knicks see this and will take advantage of this over and over again? Jerrell?
Well, my quick answer to that is no. I don't. Like they haven't shown for me to just be completely have faith that they'll continue to do that because that's been our problem with them for a very long time now. They don't have anybody that can play Cat. He should kill anybody that up against him on the Hawks. Okwangu can't guard him. Jalen Johnson can't guard him. None of the guards can guard him too. If they do, try to get him with a small, I think he should be able to do whatever he wants to do. That's one of the reasons I don't have, any concerns about the Hawks. My concerns is usually probably will be in the second round, but trying not to look ahead. We have to play the Hawks, but I'm not concerned about them enough for me to. I don't know. They don't got nobody to play Cat. Jalen Daniels against Jalen Brunson. I don't see them as a threat compared to what we're might go up against in the rounds to come.
Any concerns about the Knicks not taking full advantage of Cat?
Yeah, because that obviously has been his ongoing problem, but hopefully because if they look at the roster on the other side, they should know. Like this is stuff that fans has been saying all season. Cat should have a coming out party, but it shouldn't even really be that serious to have a coming out party. It should be a given. Give him the ball. That's all that. Just give him the ball. I don't have concerns about him talent-wise, but yeah, his recognition, mismatches and stuff like that has always been a concern. I don't think that's going to change unless they show me otherwise. But I think we're talented enough to get away with that though this round.
Geoff, do you think Atlanta's just going to sit back and let Towns go to work? Or do you think they are going to, mix it up a little bit, show him different looks, do what they can to make it difficult for him? Do you think it's about him scoring per se, or more about the ball going to him and him going through him and him reading the defense and directing the offense?
Well, I think first of all, them not having Jock Lawndale is a big deal because he's a stretch 5 and he can make Cat run and guard on the other end of the court and make him work, so to speak, defensively. So I think that hurts the Hawks. To me, in my mind, it hurts the Hawks a little bit. They don't really have anyone to guard him, so you kind of have to make one of two choices. Are you going to double him? When are you going to double him? Are you going to hard double him? What's going to be your if you are going to double team, how are you going to do it? Because Towns is a pretty good passer, and so if they double and he gets the ball out quick, then that gets us a lot of wide open shots. And then if you're double teaming him, Brunson is going to have a field day. So you don't really want to do that. And they have no one who can guard him one-on-one. So if Towns goes off the way he's capable of in this series, I don't think Atlanta has a shot. Now, that doesn't mean that that's going to happen on a consistent basis, but I honestly think that Towns, just based on matchups, is the best player in the series. And I think he has a really good chance to just be outstanding. And we've seen, in my opinion, him be a playoff riser. So I'm not overly concerned about that. I just don't know. I mean, and I also think this, if they're having to focus their whole game plan on how do we stop Cat, then the Knicks are at a huge advantage because we're not a town-centric team by nature. So if they're having to devote that much energy to stopping one player, I think that opens up a world of possibilities for everybody else, and I think that's problematic for them.
But that's the game of that's playoff basketball. They're not going to sit there and let Cat just take them to work. But that's what makes the Knicks the favorites. Is that if you play him one-on-one, he gonna kill you. And if you want to double, hopefully he makes the right decision. That leaves others open for them to get the work. Like that's the decision-making process. But listen, I remember 2 years ago when we were playing the Knicks, Atlanta in the mid-season tournament. What do you call that tournament again?
The in-season tournament.
The in-season tournament.
The
Cup. And we were like, okay, this is how you beat Atlanta. This is where we have the event. And the Knicks didn't do any of that. They didn't do any of it. So it's really going to be interesting. Like we're sitting here saying, this is it. This is this. Let's see. Ajay, you want to add anything in terms of Cat's impact on this series, and then we'll get to Knick Nation?
Listen, I think both Geoff and Jerrell said, this series is going to heavily depend, on what Cat does, right? Because, like they mentioned, they have nobody to guard Cat. Okay, now they could probably try to get to him, like under his skin, because it's very easy for him to go off a cliff, with, the refs missing a couple of calls, which they are going to miss. The refs, they're not going to call every time Cats get fouled, and that could throw him off his game. We know he's very capable of being off his game for the simplest thing. Listen, it should be, listen, it's not going to be a walk in the park, but it's really, if Cat is playing like Cat, like the superstar that he is, this series better not go more than, I'm like 5-6 games, and convincingly, Knicks heavy favorite if we get superstar Cat, a superstar performance from him.
I have a question for you, but first, Delusional. Appreciate you, my brother. We miss you, of course.
No, definitely. I was watching the show, headed home from work, so I had to run in, take a quick shower. But definitely happy to be here. But look,
another one I haven't seen since
Knick Nation came up and he pushed me to the end of the bench, so I've been getting DMPs because of Knick Nation. I got sent to the G League, so
You got the belt. Are you kidding me? Look, let me do it. Double check. Do
up after we got top 10 defense, though, right?
Oh, did you hear me? Did you hear me at the beginning of the show?
Look, of course. Look, it's
Queen. You know that is precisely why he came. That's why he got on.
He's getting his flowers. He's not leaving him at the doorstep. He's gonna get it.
I'm Mr. I told you so. But I kind of felt that this would happen. With Mike Brown, because obviously when he came in, his mindset was defense first. It wasn't necessarily offense. And I knew we was capable once they talk about implementing zone. Right, not just necessarily sticking with the ice, sticking with blitzing, just a new way of zone, and more typically forcing to the middle rather than baseline, which I think initially we was facing baseline and giving up way more threes. But when they started forcing to the middle, Cat started to defend better. Mitch played, longer games this year. His health, I was banking on heavy this year, and a lot of people question that aspect. But I was happy. Top 5 in both categories. It's good. It's good.
Yeah.
And I knew it was going to happen. The 140 didn't happen, which the 140 average, I thought we was going to definitely get to the 140, but I'll still take third in offense.
140 points a game?
Well, remember early in the year, I was going real delusional, saying that we were going to average 140, and everybody was joking me on that aspect. But yeah. A great show. Shows it was good today. Love the energy.
Appreciate it. Before I get to Knick Nation, Ajay brought up another wrinkle to this Cat thing, and that is, can we trust Cat? So we're saying Cat is the key to the series. We got to go through Cat. If they don't double him, he knows what to do. If they do double him, he's a good, he's a good passer. We should be good going through Cat. But we also seen Cat get super frustrated with the officials. We've also seen Cat not be his best self. We've seen him he's always works, he always stays in the game. That's not what I'm saying, but there was times early in the season where I was like, yeah, they not passing him the ball, but I don't know if we can trust this. I don't know if he's somebody we can just kind of go through. He seems to have gotten himself together. But I guess, Knick Nation, you can speak to this, and whatever point you were going to make is, are you super confident that if we ride Cat, he's somebody that will come through for us, or do you have a little concern about that?
Sorry, Knick Nation.
Wait a minute. Let me
Let me put my David Smith glasses on.
I was gonna say.
All right, I put my David Smiths on there. I got them going.
I was gonna say, don't forget, Cat could take himself out the game with them silly fouls. He hasn't done that lately.
That too.
But the silly fouls, he take himself right out the game.
Yeah. So
and
I
that
got them
advantage
on.
is going.
Let me see here. So Latoria B is in the chat, and she told me to positive vibes only. She says, so I got my David Smith glasses on. Cat, no worries. He's gonna get 200 points, at least 40 rebounds a game. We are good to go. No fears, no nothing. So I preface it with saying that because Latoria off camera, she beats me. All right. I'm not supposed to tell anybody that. All right, my bad. But listen, I think that here, Cat, he can be the world beater if he's engaged. That's the real question that I have. If he is fully engaged, I think he goes off and he has a great game. But it's when he disengages, that's the only part that I don't trust. But I think in the playoffs, I think he hopefully understands the magnitude. He's felt this pressure before. So I'm comfortable with him, rising to the occasion. I haven't really seen him go truly flatline in the playoffs. So until that, I'm going to stay positive and believe that he is going to become and stay engaged. When he becomes engaged is very important. So if it starts out, this is why I really like to push him the ball early, because I think if we can push him the ball early, he just will naturally, stay engaged and go through the game. But if this gets to this thing where guys look him off or do something crazy, I'm hoping that's not it. And also, if Cat can adjust to the physicality of the game, particularly in the first game, because sometimes it can be a shocker, how much they're letting go, and from game to game or from half to half, how much they're going to, allow that pressure. We know he can become sensitive to sometimes where he's not getting these calls, and he can let it agitate him. If he can stay engaged and just stay engaged on basketball and lock the other stuff away, that's the only point of where I have the point is where I may not have on the rose glasses, because we've seen this, but hopefully he can rise above that. We're home the first 2 games. He should have that positive vibe energy. His father will be sitting right there. Hopefully his father, his girlfriend, his fiance keeps him focused and locked in, and he comes and rises to the occasion. I'm going to bet on that Cat can do it. I honestly, in my heart, I'm feeling like, I've seen him go through a lot of ups and downs, but I'm a fan to the end. So I'm going to think that he can stay engaged and he can do it. So that's my take on it.
Delusional, just thoughts on Cat overall, and if you want to talk about your faith in him, if we do use him heavy in this series, you can talk about that as well.
Well, I'll talk about my faith in Cat. Going into the playoffs, my faith is 100% in Cat for what he showed me last year. Very key moments against Detroit, knocking down that 3-point shot. His energy was there for the effort. Like you saw that he wasn't soft during that series. Even the Pacers series where he were making plays for us. So I put everything in Cat right now that I think he'll be solid. Because this is what we've been building for, Queen. And I know we had all the crazy stuff and you asking about the inconsistencies with the team. Mike Brown, his mindset, being around certain coaches is regular season is to gather the data, right? And I think when the playoff time comes, we're going to see a complete, ready Knicks team. I think certain offensive schemes are going to be different. We're going to see certain plays that we never ran before. And I truly think that the 2-man game was implemented late for a reason. I truly think that you're an all NBA coach. You don't think that they had that in their bag to run it all year? I think it was strategic on why they did it now, because they knew what it could be. So let's give everybody a glimpse, and then playoff time come, we're going to see a complete team. And it's starting with Cat.
Okay, Geoff.
Oh, I have zero faith in Cat.
Oh, dear.
Because faith is belief in things not seen.
Okay.
And I've seen what Towns can do. If you know that a rock is a rock, you don't need to have faith that it's a rock. You just know that it's a rock. Faith is belief in things not seen. Well, I've seen what Towns can do. There's the only one player in this series who's been to the conference finals 2 years in a row.
Facts.
That's Karl-Anthony Towns. So I don't really understand of all the people in the Knicks lineup, other than Brunson, he's the one I'm worried about the least. I think he's going to come correct. I think he's going to come for real. I don't have any concern that we're going to get Karl-Anthony Towns' best. That's what he's here for. And I think that he has taken a back seat a lot of the time this year for the betterment of the team. And I think he's subjugated his ego, but I think he's going to be ready to go and ready to play. And if they don't have anyone to guard him and he starts off hot, good luck. That's all I'll say on that. But I think the key with Towns is his rebounding. I think if we get the Karl-Anthony Towns who's grabbing 14, 15 rebounds a game and getting every tough board inside and just dominating the glass, I think that's as big as him having a huge 30-point game or whatever you want to be. I mean, I would love that. I would love for him to get a lot of touches in the paint and all of those sorts of things. I don't think that's what Mike Brown wants to do. So I'm not going to hold my breath on that. I would love to see that. I think that's the best way for the Knicks to perform moving forward. I don't think that's the Mike Brown system, so I don't necessarily know that that's what we're going to get. We saw some glimpses of it down the stretch, but we also saw a lot of lineups that we tried to close where Cat was sitting on the bench and it was Mitch with the other 4 starters. So I don't really know how they plan on utilizing Towns, but if it was me, I would utilize him as much as possible, and I don't need to have faith in Karl-Anthony Towns because I already know the player that he is.
Well said.
Yeah. That's what scares me. That's what scares me, that having a mismatch, having an advantage, and not focusing on it and not featuring it. Like if that were to happen, I feel like you're making the game harder than it needs to be. Jerrell, did you get a chance to speak on Cat in this series? Or
Yeah, I went first.
Yeah. Yeah. I think we're all kind of, in agreement that, Cat is the answer. And I think it's just a matter of, whether we trust he'll come up with big or not. For me, my concern is not even Cat. My concern is the Knicks not going to him. That's my concern. And I will say it's not about the points. It's not about the points. It's about putting the ball in his hands and then him making the decisions. He may not. If they double him and they get the ball out of his hand, do everything, then he's not going to have 30 points. So I don't think you can look at points and even field goal attempts. You got to watch the game and say, did he not get field goal attempts because they didn't go to him? Or did he not get field goal attempts because he was doubled and he read the defense and he made the right play, right? So we shall see. Let's
18 and 8. That's the magic number for me. 18 and 18, Steph. That's what we want him to have.
18 and
points,
18?
18 rebounds. I'll take that. 4 assists or 6 assists. I'll take that.
Okay. All right.
I think all of us would take 18 rebounds and 6 assists.
Yeah.
I would hope so.
Well, if he's not getting if they're doubling him, I do expect his assist to go up. That's if guys are hitting shot. You got to watch the game. Like, there's no way to know from a box score perspective, or I need him to have this, that. I need Karl-Anthony Towns to be his best self. I need him to read the game. That's what I need him to do. Read the game, make the right decision. We shall see. But let's move on to Brunson. And some people may say this is not a Brunson series. This is a Cat series, and that very well may be so. But depending on how they play Cat, the others are going to have to show up in this series as well. And Brunson is going to have to show up. Not inefficient Brunson, efficient Brunson, the burner Brunson when we need it. What are you looking for from Jalen Brunson in this series? I know Greg already voiced his concerns that Brunson is going to be dominating the ball and he might not even pass it to Cat. But what are we looking for from Brunson, Geoff?
Just be Jalen. Like, playoff Brunson. We know he's a playoff riser. We've seen what he can do. I mean, he has 30-point games in the playoffs like they're going out of style. I mean, he just dominates in the playoffs. One thing I am concerned about is his 3-point percentage tends to dip in the playoffs from his career average. I think he's about a 34% shooter from deep in the playoffs. So I think that's something to keep an eye on. Dyson Daniels is a terrific one-on-one defender. I don't even think he can handle Brunson. The key, I think, for Jalen is to not make it about beating Dyson Daniels in a one-on-one game. Just run the offense, take your opportunities when you get them, pick your spots, be smart about it. I feel like we can use the pick and roll to attack the coverages that we want to see. They have 2 excellent defensive guards, though. Nickeil Alexander-Walker, I think, is a very good defender also. And so they can switch a lot of pick and roll stuff. So you got to be careful with that as well. But I think just be Jalen Brunson. Playoff Jalen Brunson is something that I trust also. It's something that we've seen. He's done it every year that he's been here. Particularly in the first round. And so that's not going to say he's going to have a great game every game. He'll probably have 1 or 2 of his, 12 for 26 games where he makes you want to pull your hair out, and hopefully he doesn't have, one of those, fourth quarter turnovers, like he hasn't had one all game, and that game is tied and he throws the ball away for a layup, or game is tied and he gets to the free throw line and suddenly he forgets how to make a free throw. We've seen that from time to time, but I have faith in Jalen Brunson. I think he's going to do what's best for the team. I think the Dyson Daniels thing is overblown. I think if you look at his stats against Dyson Daniels, I don't think that you would look at those and say that Daniels is this Brunson stopper. If I'm wrong about that, please post it in the chat and let me know. But that's not the impression that I get. And he's very good. I mean, he's as good as they get. But I don't think the only person that could stop Jalen Brunson is Jalen Brunson, in my opinion. I mean, I just think he's one of one. There's nobody like him in the league, and the biggest players play their biggest in the biggest games, and Brunson has done that for us consistently.
Yeah. Ajay?
So I think Brunson, like Geoff said, like he needs to be Brunson. But I think something's gonna be different in the way the team runs the offense. And he's gonna be running it. Don't get me wrong, but he's not gonna be bringing up the ball. Like that's gonna come down tremendously in this series. And
it should.
And Mike Brown, I don't know if you noticed that the last few games, Brunson's done very little bringing up the ball. I don't know if that was dress rehearsal for the playoffs. But especially in the series, he really needs to conserve his energy, not trying to beat out Dyson Daniels, like Geoff said, not try to play one, because you could avoid him all you want, but if you bring up the ball, that's a good 10 seconds you have to worry about him, that you have to struggle with him. But by not doing that, that'll make a huge difference. As soon as they cross the half court, he's going to run the offense, but he's not going to be bringing up the ball a whole lot. And I think that's going to make a huge difference in his efficiency and how well he plays in the playoffs. I don't know what the stats say this season. The eye test tells me he hasn't shot the ball as well. He shot it well, but not as well as past seasons from the three-point line.
That's correct.
I think and I hope that him spending less energy trying to bring up the ball kind of help him in that, his efficiency, because a lot of times you see him play, and I don't know, I know most of us, we watch those broadcasts if we're able to on MSG, and Walt Clyde Frazier, he'll tell you, the shot is flat. Like those guys' legs are noodles, like they're tired, and you could tell the fatigue because the shots are coming up short. They kiss in the front of the rim and stuff like that. Listen, they've had 10 days off or whatever it is, or a week off, but after a couple of games, it's right back to regular grind, right? But I think that's going to be a tremendous difference and tremendous help if he doesn't have to bring up the ball. And Queen, I know he didn't do that the last couple of games, and I mentioned to you that usually Mike Brown, when Brunson's on the court, Mike Brown has Josh Hart on the court at the same time. He didn't do that the last couple of games for some reason. But prior to that, that's always been the case. I think Josh Hart's purpose of this is to bring up the ball when Brunson's on the court. So I don't know if that's going to be the playbook for this series, but look out for that. I think that's what they're going to do.
You know what came up when you were talking, Ajay? Who are the ball handlers on this team? Because it's not okay. So fine, you're going to have somebody else bring the ball up, and so Dyson Daniels is not on Brunson, but they have other really good perimeter defenders also that can hawk the ball. Who's bringing the ball up? Is it going to be Bridges? Sure, Bridges can bring the ball up, but against tight, like let's just say Nickeil Alexander-Walker is on Bridges bringing the ball up. He's a pretty good defender, so it's not like Dyson is the only one. So when we go to these alternate ball handlers, I just hope they're able to bring the ball up the court, run our actions against pressure. Michelle.
I think Mike Brown prefers Josh Hart bringing up the ball over Mikal Bridges if they both on the court.
He also utilized Shamet. Remember, he always say,
Well,
"Oh, Shamet used to be a point guard. He used to." I'm like, I don't know, look a little shaky, but he gets it done. He gets it done.
Yeah, that's gonna be interesting. Jerrell, Delusional, then Geoff. Just thoughts on Brunson?
I just want Brunson to be his regular self, just be the captain. A lot of it, even with the stuff with Cat, a lot of the recognition stuff, it has a lot to do with him.
Mm-hmm.
I don't put that all on Mike Brown. Like Jalen Brunson is a point guard. He's smart enough to know when Cat is supposed to have a mismatch or not. So that's the only concern that I have is like his floor game. When it comes to his shooting and stuff, yeah, like when a team throws the kitchen sink at you in the playoffs because nobody else is stepping up, that has happened a lot since he's been here. Yeah, your shooting splits will be down a little bit, but Brunson's been Brunson. I just want him to be the captain and just recognize what he's supposed to recognize on the floor. That's it.
All right. Delusional.
Yeah, for me, I want to see the Brunson that we saw in the last month, who was averaging 9 assists per game during that stretch. I think we were efficient during that time period to where Cat was able to get in the groove. There were a lot of cuts for OG. Josh making last second 3-point shots, but it kind of flowed within the offense. So if they found a nice rotation at work. So with Brunson, if we can get the high 8, 9 assists in this series, I think I would rather take that than him average 35.
Yeah. Is it the assist or the passing? Because he could do the same thing, and if guys don't hit shots, he doesn't get the.
This
assist.
is true.
Is it more the assist or just his process that's leading to those?
I think it's the process, because it was certain passes that he made. So it was one play that we saw with Josh Hart where he whipped that pass into Josh. Would he make that on a normal situation? No, I don't think he would even attempt that.
Right.
So I guess it's him being more willing to thread the needle with certain passes and put guys in position. So
yeah. And to your point, you can get an assist by just passing it to the wing and they get a shot. In those particular games, he seems to be passing people into really good opportunities, or when they are in a advantageous spot on the court, he's finding them in those spots where they can quit. And that's a difference. We've seen Brunson have assists before, but to your point, the process has been much better. Nick Nation, did you get it? Geoff, and then Nick Nation, did you get a chance to speak on Brunson?
No, I didn't get a chance yet.
Go ahead.
Okay. Well, Brunson thing kind of falls into part of what you were saying has been a pet peeve of mine all season, is getting the ball up past the half and not getting it with just all of a sudden getting the foot across and boom, it's 16 seconds. Then all of a sudden we're down to 14 by the time it's, before you try to get vision of what we're going to do or where we're going to go. Mike Brown's system point, as hopefully with these days off, they use that, and some point of with the scheme that they, let's move the ball and get the ball pass. There's going to be times where, Brunson may bring it up. There's going to be times where Hart brings it up, or whoever it may be. But as long as it's localized and we're getting the ball across, hopefully with 19 seconds somewhere in that ballpark, I'd like to see that and for us to get quickly into our offense. 20 would be much more even efficient, but let's hope for that. Secondly, I think as far as Brunson being off ball, particularly with Dyson, I think it's a good thing because he's much more effective when he can get Dyson on his backside and manipulate him from the side and and getting downhill. He's a much better player where then he can get you into foul trouble and things like that, which is a point of the nature of the game. It's the reason why he hunts fouls at times, because if we can get Dyson in a point where he's not as aggressive in a point, it's better all over for the whole team. Switches, whatever we got to do, whatever point we got to do in the scheme, but there's going to be times where Brunson has to probably be a decoy, where he's just moving this guy around, where teams are loading up to even sometime make that double. and hopefully guys can take a point of advantage of it. But this is all heresy in a point, because until the point of where we actually see it, where Mike Brown actually adds that point into the scheme, or what he decides to either give and take away, we're all hunting to see that, and we can't wait until Saturday, 6 o'clock. But that's just my take on as far as on Brunson.
The game starts that early?
I believe it's 6 on Saturday. Mm-hmm.
6 Eastern, yes, ma'am.
Oh, I'm gonna have
I
to
know that because KRT show, the KRT show will be happening at 4:30. No, I'm sorry. Just throwing it.
Oh man, that's real. Oh wow. Okay. All right. I have a drive Saturday, so I'll be out early to Rocky Mountain. So I'll probably have to leave at 4 in the morning then.
Rocky Mountain.
Yeah. Geoff?
Well, and I think one thing that I think this series is a lot closer than a lot of people want to imagine. But I think if you want to say one thing that the Knicks might have the advantage in is we have a definite closer. As great a player as Jalen Johnson is, I don't think anybody else on the court has a history of hitting as many high pressure, big time shots, playoffs, situation regardless. He has shown the ability to take over games in the fourth quarter, and he's if you need a bucket in the fourth quarter, you can put the ball in his hands, and he's going to get you a shot. Who's that player on the Hawks? They have a lot of good players. I haven't seen him enough. Does Johnson do that on a regular basis? I know he's a fantastic player, but I don't know. He's a power forward, though, or he's a forward, so you have to get the ball in his hands. Dyson Daniels is not that player. CJ McCollum is a good shooter. I don't know if he's that player. Nick Okongwu is definitely not that player. Nickeil Alexander-Walker could be that player, but I don't know that he definitely 100% is. He certainly had a breakout season, but the playoffs are a different animal, so we'll see if he's able to continue that. And if he's able to continue his production from the regular season, then that bodes well for Atlanta. But I think in terms of having a guy you can trust in the clutch and a closer, that may be the biggest advantage the Knicks have in the series, because Brunson has done it time and time again.
Yeah, I'm going to be really, really, really watching Jalen Brunson. This is it. This is it. In terms of that championship window, and if we're going to get there and win it, Jalen Brunson has to be his best self, and for me, that his process has to be impeccable. I forgot what game it was, Geoff, and after was it the Boston game? Boston, or was it the Atlanta game? And afterwards, I was like, that's the best I've seen Brunson in a long time, like maestro status, and I think that's where he has to be. It doesn't matter to me whether you pass first or shoot first. You still have to be great at your process and reading the defense and reading what they're doing and reading what's available and keeping the whole game in focus. We'll get to the super chats in a minute. That's what we're gonna need from Brunson. Recognition. We got to go through Towns against this team. There's now they doubling Towns. We haven't scored. We've missed our last 5 shots. I got to make a shot right now, or I got to get to the line. Like that type of thought process, I think, is what we need from Jalen Brunson. And I'm gonna be watching him like a hawk to see his progression.
Like an Atlanta Hawk?
Like an Atlanta Hawk, right. I think what we underestimate as fans is the difference between the regular season and the playoffs, and that how if you're one of the top players on your team, how you have to grow each season, and you can only you grow in the playoffs itself. And so if you don't have a lot of playoff experience and you haven't gone deep into the playoffs, you don't know what it's like. Like you have to go deep into the playoffs multiple times to kind of get that feel. Michael Jordan went through it. Isaiah Thomas, Paul George, like all of these guys, you have to go through it. And so now Brunson, this is what his 3rd time, going into the playoffs, let's see. We got to see some leveling up each time, each year. So I'm really looking forward from Brunson to see if he's leveled up his game. And go ahead.
I was going to say third time with the Knicks.
Third time with the Knicks. Right.
Maybe he's got experience before that.
Right. And he has experience before that. I know Brunson can score with the best of them. Matter of fact, I think that burner mode has been kind of less,
fourth time with the Knicks, isn't it? He got bounced by the Heat, and then we lost to the Pacers the last 2 years.
Yeah, this will be his fourth time.
Yeah, fourth time. Correct.
Yeah. So I'm going to be watching him like a hawk just to see how his process has developed from season to season. We need him to be top notch if we're going to win it all, not just against Atlanta, just period, top notch. So I'll be giving you my daily reports on Jalen Brunson. All right. I want to talk about Mike Brown next, but before I get into Mike Brown, let's get to some of the.
We had an early super chat too. I don't know. You may have to go back from Parrish, and then we had a recent flurry of them as well. I just want to make sure that first one.
Yeah, they're all starred in that. So, yeah,
you're right. My bad.
They automatically do it. They know my condition. Paris Duggar, we appreciate you. If they put a mandate on Cat to get up at least 6 shots first quarter of every game, so he can be involved early, Cat will be the dominant factor this series.
I'm with that. I'm with it. And three of those 6 shots should be 3-pointers.
Adam Freeman, appreciate you. I appreciate the super chat. Where do you put Brunson among the top 10 MVP? I don't know if Brunson's had an MVP season. Has he had even a top 10? I guess. I mean, if you told me he was 8 or 9 or 10, I wouldn't argue.
Is he top 10?
Yeah. That's a good question. Is Brunson top 10?
Statistic wise, I don't think he's top 10 this year. When he averaged 28, and he was hitting all the game winners, and he won Clutch Player of the Year that year was definitely an MVP. I believe he was 4th or 5th in MVP voting that year.
Yeah,
he's not top 10. I'm looking at the list.
Yeah. Who is top 10?
So they got at 10. They got Kawhi Leonard, Jalen Johnson, believe it or not, for the Atlanta Hawks, Tyrese Maxey, Jalen Brown, Giannis Antetokounmpo, Cade Cunningham.
What is this year's or last year's?
This year's.
With Giannis as a top 10 for MVP?
Still 30 points and 10 boards.
Yeah.
In 12 games, though.
MVP on a team that doesn't even make the play-in? Give me a break.
Like, he didn't make the games.
Great player, but no, sorry.
No way he made 65, right?
I don't think he made 65, did he?
He made 6 or 5, maybe.
Yeah, that's about it.
Yeah, but the top 3 are Jokic, Wembanyama, and Shai Gilgeous-Alexander.
Got no problem with that top 3. That's fine. I think Jalen Brown has to be right there too. For what I don't like to say nice things about the
they have him at 7. Believe it or not, they have Giannis above him at 6. So
wow. Who's 5?
5 is Cade.
Okay.
They let Cade in. They let Cade in and somebody else in as well, right? It was 2 guys that got let in.
Oh, they did let him in, even though they had 64 games.
Luka got in.
Okay.
Yeah, they let him in, and they denied from Minnesota. They denied him, Anthony Edwards.
Yeah, Anthony Edwards. Yeah.
How is Anthony Edwards? That's crazy, man. They should have let him in.
Well, he gets to play with Julius Randle, so his stats are inflated.
I think it's the reason why you missed the cut of 65 that went into whether they gave it to you or not. Yeah. All right. Last one. Appreciate you, Parish Duggar, always rocking with us, supporting the channel. Our slow starts in games are due to our calm demeanor personalities. What's funny is the experts know we're great in high stakes circumstances, especially JB. Once we lock in on D, it's game over. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, any thoughts? Anybody as confident as Paris Duggan in our ability to kind of flip that switch and lock in?
Well, the numbers say it in the fourth quarter we're plus 20. So it that showcased that we can get it going. But like I said, playoffs is a different game. Highest stake, one game. Everyone felt that Indiana series. They don't want to feel that again. So
yeah.
I'm with it. I'm with Paris Duggan until the first loss, and then I'm flipping all this shit over. But that's something different. But you know what I mean? But I'm a fan.
We're gonna be back here talking about here we go with the inconsistent Knicks. Game 1, look how they look. Now game 3, they looking raggedy again.
That's right. That text is coming, Steph. I got it all prefabbed on the side already.
Right. Yeah. I just felt like if the Knicks are the team that they play close to their ceiling, I'm with Paris Duggan, lights out. If they're their topsy-turvy team, the margins are really slim. Before we get to Mike Brown, I want to talk a little bit about Atlanta. Long, lean, athletic. They got some experience now with CJ McCullough, who I think when he was with Portland, I don't know. Can somebody look up how much a playoff experience CJ McCullough? Because I know he was languishing in New Orleans. Before that, he was in Portland. But I think when he was in Portland, it was during the time.
He was when Dame was
yeah,
in.
He's got a lot of playoff experience.
Yeah, so he does have playoff experience. Okay, thank you for that. Nickeil Alexander-Walker is, probably going to be sixth man of the year. He has some playoff experience, but not in this role. Where they're counting on him to be, one of the guys. Thoughts on Atlanta? Like, do you feel like this is a nothing series? The Knicks is head and tails over them. The Knicks should win this in 4 or 5, or are you like, wow, if the Knicks don't show up big, we could be out of here in the first round? Thoughts on this Atlanta team and the competition, the threat they pose to the Knicks, if any. Knick Nation?
Don't put the pressure on me. All right. No. I'm going to stay positive.
On. You ready?
Yeah, I'm staying positive. Stay positive. Stay focused. Yeah, I worry about Shai Alexander in particular. I'd like for, to me, defensively.
The cousin.
Yeah, the cousin. Yeah, excuse me.
Excuse me.
Alexander
challenge.
Woo. Oh, yeah, that's the finals. That's the finals.
Let me bring it back. Yes. Mr. Alexander, yeah. I'm hoping that we do have some form of a game plan to slow him down, alter him a bit. To me, if he goes off, he's one of the big deciding factors to me. This guy, I think he's a playoff riser. I watched him a lot last year in the playoffs, and that was really my point focus, is that he went at his cousin all world, and a lot of those games were cutting edge, really close. He's not a guy I take lightly. To me, on that team, he would be my focus. I know that CJ McCollum has a lot of playoff experience, but I think he's, starting to get up there a little bit in age. I don't think he has that full drive of 4 quarters where he'll give it to you, giving you business. I think if you let him get into that rhythm and he gets into that, gets into solidly in that paint area and starts of course he can be a problem. But I don't think he still has that point of that drive where any second where he's attacking. Anytime Alexander gets that ball in his hands, he looks to attack you from some point, some way. So to me, that's my only where I think that they have some point of an advantage at. Otherwise, I just think that we can handle them. I just think that this is not an overall physical team. I think they're an extremely athletic team that they can guard you up and down the floor, 90 feet from corner to corner. But I don't think that they have the strength and the point of where they engage that heavenly on you, where they displace you and knock you out of your position, or where they have that just a warrant ability to ISO you and just wear you down. I don't think they have that. So therefore, I'm not worried about them like that. I only worry about us. I think if this is one of those teams where if we are on our game, we beat them. They are not a team that I think that where we are on our game and it's still not enough. There are a few teams out there that are like that, but not this one. So I don't really have any fears of this one.
Delusional?
I'll piggyback off of it. When you had your stats up earlier, it was only really one category that Atlanta was better than the Knicks, and that's what points over turnovers.
Mm-hmm.
Everything else, we were pretty much better in. And like Nick Nation said, if we come prepared to come ready and we play Knick basketball, it should be a 4-2 series or a gentleman sweep at 4-1. So
nice.
But and Ajay made this great point. 3-point defender, how we defend a three. That's been a question that we've had all year. And Alexander went off 7 from 11 from 3-point line. I want to say in one of the games, Okongwu went off for 3-pointer. So it's those pick and rolls and cat and drop coverage. He's going to be at the top of the key, letting it fly. So it's really that 3-point shooting that I'm worried about.
Versus but I think we should 3-point defense or lack thereof.
Yeah.
You bring up a good point about Okongwu and how he'll be played by Cat. Because if Cat plays him close, that opens up driving lanes, behind him. And then if he lays off, and I mean, that's the same to a lesser extent, but that's the same, issue that Cat poses, for them as well. Geoff?
Yeah, I'm never overly confident about anything. You know me, I'm not gonna. So here's my history with predictions. The last 3 series I picked the Knicks to win were the Miami series, the Pacers series, and the Pacers series. So I'm out of the prediction business, guys. If you want to get us to lose fast, just have me say something about New York beating Atlanta. But this is the deepest the Eastern Conference has been in a long time. The Orlando Magic have 45 wins, and they have to win just to get to the 8th seed tomorrow night. So this entire East is for real. Every team can beat every other team. Is not any such thing as a cakewalk. You got to be on your game. You got to be healthy, and you got to take care of business. And I think the Knicks are certainly capable. I like what Nick Nation said. I think it's true. The Knicks are playing against themselves. If we come out and we play our best ball, I think we win the series. But that remains to be seen, right? You still have to go out and do it. The game isn't played on paper, so I'm never going to be quietly confident about anything. I'll be a nervous wreck at tip-off time, and let's just get one win at a time and let the rest fall where it falls is what I'll say.
Greg says, "Stop being freeloaders." Okay, hit the like button. Giving it to you straight.
I like that.
He looking for big Ajay spot. He's trying to put Ajay on the bench.
He's been
Stop coming in with EJ and one Hennessy.
Tell him, Greg.
We got another super chat for Latoria. Stop the show. Hold up. Wait a minute. Atlanta played lights out last game and still lost. Are they good? Yes. But it's okay to say they're not good enough. Knicks in 4. 5 the most. Talk to me, sis.
From your lips to God's ears. Yep. Be right about that thing.
Latoria got her broom ready.
Shout out to Frazier.
Surprised you don't, Ajay. You're usually the guy. The Knicks are going to win every game. I thought you'd have the broom. I thought you'd be sweeping the cobwebs up in that corner there.
No, we're not going to sweep this series.
He went through some trauma. Let me tell you. Ajay has been nervous all season. Every time he watches another team, they not even playing the Knicks. They playing somebody else. I get a text. We are not going to be able to beat this team. I'm telling you, Queen, we are not going to be able to beat them. Another team.
I got my eyes on the enemy. I got my eyes on the opposition.
We are not going to be able to beat them, Queen. Did you see Washington? Did you see how they played against OKC? We are not going to be able to beat them.
Well, I will say this, though. Look at when Atlanta had their win streak. They were very good in the second half of the season. Take a peek at the quality of the wins and the competition. Like they get on the Knicks about that a lot. They weren't playing the strongest of schedule. Credit to them, they still won the games and all that stuff. But if you look at, there's a lot of Clevelands and not Clevelands. There's a lot of Washingtons and Indianas and those sorts of folks in there, as opposed to the Clevelands and Bostons. There are not a lot of wins against the top level teams. So maybe that works in our favor too. But we're gonna have to come with it every night for sure.
Yeah.
Good point, Jeff.
Trey.
Yeah.
Well,
got his own show.
It's been a minute.
Trey, I sent you the link on Twitter too, so that's the one every week.
That's where I got it from, Jerrell.
Okay.
Appreciate you, man. Because I was looking all over the place, my DMs, and I was like, oh yeah, she got hacked. That's why I don't have access to it no more.
You good?
But yeah, appreciate you for sending that, man. Salute to everybody that's on the show, and salute to the chat also.
Yeah. Well, we're just talking about. We talked about a lot. We're gonna talk about Mike Brown next, but we were just talking about Atlanta and the competition, or that they pose, and just how we're feeling about this series, and whether there's some sentiment out there that the Knicks, they can knock off the Knicks. Just your thoughts on the matchup and the challenge they pose, if any.
Knicks in 6 for me. If they can get this 2-man game going, we've seen it for about a week and a half, 2 weeks now. If they can consistently stay with that throughout this series, it's Knicks in 5. It's a gentleman's sweep.
Nice.
Because Atlanta has really nobody that could deal with Cat like that.
Right.
And, my philosophy is keep doing something until the team proves that they can stop it. So that's kind of where I'm at with it.
From what you've seen from Mike Brown, do you think that's his philosophy, or have you seen something different?
Well, we've definitely seen something different. It's like he's been hiding this 2-man game, this pick and roll with Brunson and Cat for the entire year, and all of a sudden he brings it up. And I love the fact that he did finally, unleash this, dynamic of the offense. And I think it's here to stay. I mean, why wouldn't it be, right? So I don't know that he's going to be consistent with it. I think there will be teams that will try to take it away from us. But it's up to Mike Brown to be able to continue to implore that into the offense from a consistent basis, and not just go away from it because you want to do something different.
Yeah. There's so many options off the 2-man game, though. That's the thing. When you have both of them with their skill sets in a pick and roll, and then you have shooters around them, it's almost like pick your poison, right?
Yeah.
So
there's shots like OG's 3-point shots, Bridges, and the other guys will get better shots off of that pick and roll action. Right. They don't have to struggle for, tough shots.
Yeah. Let me get this last super chat, and then we're going to move into talking about Mike Brown. Harris Doug, appreciate you. If it's a 1-game playoff, we can lose, but it's not. Okay. Yeah. I hear you. Confident, Paris Duggar. I hear you. Listen, I feel like if we get the best of the Knicks, particularly defensively, they shore up that 3-point defense, and they're definitely capable of doing that. They've had stretches this season where the 3-point defense was good. It's lights out. We get that inconsistent Knick team, this can go 7. you know. So it's just, you know, which team are we getting? All right, let's talk about Mike Brown. You know, the expectation is that he leads the team to the NBA Finals in year one. I'm not sure how fair it is, but it is what it is. We can talk about whether that's a realistic expectation for him. But I think the question for me with Mike Brown is just seeing him up close, right? I've seen him, you know, in the regular season. The playoffs is a different game, not just for the players, but for the coaches as well. So I'm really looking to see his game plan from game to game, his in-game adjustments, his game-to-game adjustments, his rotations. Does he just stick to them, or are there situations where he, you know, pulls a situational player off the bench and see if he can get something out of him? Do you think Mike Brown has to prove himself, or do you feel like he just needs to coach? Same thing, like similar to the Brunson question. Like Brunson doesn't have to do anything extra. I didn't feel that way. He just needs to be Brunson. Do you feel that way about Mike Brown? Like Mike Brown just needs to coach, just be himself, or do you feel like no, he needs to prove that he's that dude that can take us there? Trey?
Well, I think he needs to prove that he can win a championship. I mean, if we're talking about, you know, winning a title, then yes, he has to prove that. But I think if you're just, you know, looking at it from a micro perspective, he was brought here, in my opinion, he was brought here not to win 60 plus games in a regular season. He was brought here to be a different head coach than Tom Thibodeau. And what is that? He's brought here to expand the bench, maximize the offense, not have starters play, you know, 40 plus minutes a night, you know, give Leon Rose a chance to look at what he has, you know, deep down his bench in the event that, you know, he want to make some moves or whatever. Mm-hmm. And I think Mike Brown has done that. I think he's accomplished that this season. I think fans were having issues with this team because they didn't win 60 plus games. And I think that's what some people's expectations of this team was. But I think he's done a great job this regular season. And I think if you're just asking, what does he need to do? I think he just needs to do what he's been doing, you know, the regular season. Hey, make sure you know, go 9-10 deep throughout these playoffs if you can. And, you know, let the chips fall where they may.
Okay. Jerrell?
The question was like, how much faith do I have in him?
Yeah. Like, do you feel like Mike Brown just has to be Mike Brown, or do you feel like, you know, he has to prove himself or step it up a little bit?
I think it's just like how it was in the regular season when we hired him. Of course, there's pressure. I don't think he has to do anything different than he has been doing this whole year, but he's pretty much been proving himself to the fans and maybe to the team all season in the regular season. So I guess we'll see how he does in the playoffs. But yeah, like if you want to grade, say if you want to put a grade on Mike Brown, like his year this year so far, like just for the regular season, like we won how many games did we win compared to last year? Was maybe 1 over, 2 over, something like that. It was.
I think
close,
it's 2
right?
over.
Okay, 2 over. So
53 wins.
Like, and unless you thought this team was going to make a huge leap, we kind of was on par as we were last year when it came to Tibbs. We obviously play differently under Mike Brown on offense and defense with Tibbs, but maybe it's the talent. I think for us, if we're going to win, it's going to be a talent thing. It's not going to be Mike Brown. Like, I don't think he's going to cost us a series. So do I have faith in him? Yeah, I have faith in him. Does he have to prove himself to us? Of course he does. Everybody's going to have to prove themselves. Like, we had a question about how concerning Brunson was to us. And he's still proving himself in the playoffs until he wins a championship. So, you know, I'm always going to say that a coach or a player or anybody, until you win the championship, you're continuously proving yourself every season. So, yeah, to answer your question, yes, he does have to prove himself. But has he already proven that he can coach and coach this team pretty well? Yeah. Like he had a pretty good season so far. Like, I don't know, the expectations may be a little bit too high. I didn't have those complete high expectations, like we have to make the finals or win a championship in order for him to like be deemed a good hire.
Mm-hmm.
But so far for me, he's going to have to keep proving himself, until we win a championship.
Yeah. I think Dolan put that pressure, right, when he went on WFA.
Right.
Like,
if he didn't say that, we wouldn't have thought any of that.
Yeah, but they also said it in the statement too, when they hired him, and also in the firing statement of Thibodeau. So whether it's fair or not, I don't think it is. It's first year, expect him to go to the finals, but that's what Dolan expects. Knick Nation, then Delusional, Ajay, Geoff.
Yeah, for me, he's got to prove something. He's got to prove basically that he's Steve Kerr or better, right? Isn't that the same kind of point? Coming in, to a team that it was, pretty good, has, been there right at the doors, and he needs to be able to have the ability to come in and kick it open. That's the propaganda that has been peppered across all of us Knick fans, fair or not, he will be judged. They've driven me to the point where I believe that I would have those judgments too. He hasn't coached to me like his pants are on fire, and if he doesn't, get a championship this year, that's it. To me, he's coming like like a rookie coach in a sense, to almost to like a rookie. He has, put his system in, tweaked it, implemented it, had discussions back and forth. So he's open to the point of dialogue. We know he's open to the point of change. He's open to the point of moving players in or out. That was fine in the regular season, but in order to be considered a coach that we wanted and to have here, he's got to put his stamp on this team. He's got to have some form of where there's a driving force. Many people now will still say that we win in spite of him. You've heard that narrative pushed a lot of times through our fans and through the chats and the fan base. It's even on, as you guys are saying, that Brunson and Towns kind of may have come up with this more than what the coaching staff it has. So with things like that, that might make us, waver a little bit, but he's still got time. We're at 0-0, I'll say again, and he's got to come up with some form of a game plan, to put his stamp on his team.
What?
And if he doesn't, regardless if we like it or not, it's coming. The doubts, the implementation of he should be fired, this, that. We are a zero patient fan base. We know that. We've waited a long time for a championship. We're arrogant in that way. We feel we're from New York. We should have it. We should have had it. It shouldn't have been since 1973. It's a long time. It's 4 years or whatever. 50 something odd years, 52 years. This is, So fair or not, Mike Brown will be judged, and he has to come up with something.
What are you looking for, if anything, specifically?
Specifically, I'm looking to see what kind of coach he is. Like I said earlier, does he, in the playoffs, is he a coach that says, hey, I'm just going to run my systems and say, here, beat me at this? Or am I a coach that's going to say, here, I'm going to adapt into a point where I take certain things away from you, where here I say to the core of my value is that we're going to jam this ball onto the inside until we force you down and then kick outside? Or am I just going to try to be a tremendously balanced team? Am I going to, do I have the ability to just whatever your scheme is and you throw at your best that you believe is going to alter us? Do I have the ability, like we all want to know, is he a cerebral coach, and are our players cerebral enough to be able to adjust on the fly and not have to say, okay, yeah, we lost this game, but, we're going to make these adjustments and come back. No, I want it as like is. I want my toaster strudel right now with all the paste on it right now. I don't want to wait till later. I need it all now. So yeah, I'm impatient at this point of it, and I want to see the outcome of it. And I want to see him, for all the tough bravado and all of this, I want him to come up with a good game plan that's solid and get us a win. Get us out this series.
Delusional.
I'll take the light approach on Coach Brown, because everyone is like kind of, I wouldn't say giving it to him, but I just want to throw out some stats real quick. So obviously we're 53-29. So Mike Brown coming in first year head coach. That is the highest win total for a first year with the Knicks, beating out Pat Riley. So that's iconic. First year with us, we won the NBA Cup. I still live off of that right now. First time in Knick history that we are top 10 in offense and defense. First time history. That you just can't forget about that, right? 9 wins over 30 points in this season, 3 wins over 40, right? 5th in net rating. We have over 500 records against the top 500 teams. I mean, the top teams that were over 500, right? And then, of course, our largest victory in history with 54 points margin against the Nets. So with all that, and it's being your first year, he's been more than what I asked for, to be honest with you, for the regular season. Obviously, playoffs is a different animal. Nice. I think with him, he's gotten to the promised land with teams. He's gotten to the finals coaching teams, and also got to the finals and won it being an assistant coach. So he's kind of been through it. Then he's been under Pop as far as under that coaching tree. So he's seen pretty much everything you can see in the playoffs. So I think he showed me what he can do since in year 1 for the regular season, but I still think sky's the limit with him. And I'm actually going to give him a chance and an opportunity to not necessarily prove it. Just show me what you got. Not necessarily I'm looking forward to seeing you make these mistakes or how you counter. I have faith that you can. Well, Geoff said, I can't have faith because we already seen it. And with Mike Brown, we've seen the adjustment. So I'll take a different approach. But I love everything that Mike Brown is doing so far. He was the leading candidate for the head coaching position that I wanted, since all the other coaches were actually actively coaching, but free agent coaches. So I'm good. And then the good thing about it is the Knicks assistant coaches are heavily involved. You see them coaching during games. You see them coaching defensively and offensively. So it's just not him is what I like. It's a team. So
yeah.
I have the utmost faith.
Ajay?
Listen, so the thing with Mike Brown is I don't want to me, he has to continue to prove himself, right? Because, as much as we complain about him this season, we've got 52 wins. That says something, right? On his first year. Yeah, you can't say it's just a coach. The roster counts for a lot, right? But in the playoffs, man, listen, this is no time for experimenting. I don't want to see any suspect lineups out there. I don't want to see any weird, strange, Brunson, Deuce, Alvarado on the court at the same time. I don't want anything weird like that, because one game in the regular season is one of 82. One game in the playoffs is one of 7. And if you're trying to win that series, is 1 out of 4. Okay. So I'm just not trying to see anything experimental at this point. These guys, they better be in the lab cooking up something. And when we roll it out there on Saturday at 6 p.m., we better know exactly what we're going to do, how we're going to approach this series, and what we're going to do with the Atlanta Hawks. All right. And if we move past the Atlanta Hawk, or when we move past the Atlanta Hawks, the next series, I don't expect it to be the same. I expect them to make the adjustment depending on who we're going to play next. Okay. I don't want to see the same, the same formula for because it doesn't work. The same formula don't work for every team. So you have to be flexible. You have to be able to adjust. And I'm looking for Mike Brown to prove himself with this team. Like, he's a proven coach. I need him to prove himself with this team and deliver in the playoffs. Okay, so I'm not taking anything for granted. You know, the Atlanta Hawks is very capable of beating the Knicks and send us packing. Okay, we cannot be rolling out there and be down, 20-2, midway through the first quarter, and think we're gonna come and climb back. Like we can't go out there and not be ready to play from jump. So I expect Mike Brown to get his guys ready. I expect Mike Brown to get his staff ready, and I expect us to come out the gate running every time we hit the floor in playoffs.
Thanks. Geoff?
Well, I was actually going to say a lot of the things Delusional was going to say, but my final conclusion was going to be opposite. So I love that. I love that Delusional said all that stuff, because those are all the points I was going to make about the wins over 500 teams, the 53 wins. All of that stuff is great. It don't mean a thing if you ain't got that ring, baby. Like, we're not. So a couple of things here. First of all, why was Tom Thibodeau fired? Because he came up 6 wins short. When it comes down to it, you can talk about, like, nobody's going to care about dialogue and everything else. You win those other 6 games, all that stuff goes out the window. Collaboration, nobody cares about collaboration if you got that Larry O'Brien trophy in your hand at the end of the season. Ain't nobody care, right? So what was Mike Brown brought here to do? Win 53 games in the regular season and lose in the first round? No. Did he come here with the understanding of what the expectations were? Yes. So now it's crunch time. Though all you got, and to his credit, I want to echo some of the things the Delusional said. To his credit, he did all of that stuff while lowering the minutes load for all of our starters, right? We won more games with less wear and tear on the body. So if that's the case, show me the money. It's time. Like, this isn't, I don't believe in moral victories, and I don't care about ugly wins. Like, there's no such thing as a moral victory. You know what that is? That's an L, period. It doesn't mean nothing. Like, close, but no cigar. Second place, first loser. That's the kind of tournament this is. You don't get participation trophies for being in the NBA. We've been waiting for my entire life. I have not seen a Knicks championship. I was born in 1975. I'm an ofer. I got none. Before I die, and I don't know how long I got, I want to see at least one. And this is the best team that we've had probably this century going into this portion of the season. Now, that doesn't mean it's going to be easy. The Detroit series, round 1, wasn't easy last year. The Boston series, we had to come back from down 20 twice. It wasn't easy last year. Look, nobody's saying it's going to be easy, but the question is, do you think that this team has the talent to win 4 straight series or not? Obviously, the Knicks did. Leon Rose in the front office, the ones who put them together, and they chose Mike Brown not to get beat in the first round, not to get beaten in the second round, not to get beaten in the Eastern Conference Finals, not to get beat in the NBA Finals. The expectation is a championship. You came here, you accepted the money, you took the pressure. Now it's time to earn that cash, as far as I'm concerned. And if you're not going to do it, then let's find somebody else. I don't want to wait. Like, I don't think there's a need to wait. Like, is it going to be tough? Yeah, with the odds are stacked against us. I wrote an article the other day. Being a 3rd seed, not only 8 3 seeds, I think, have ever won the championship. It's not an easy place to win the title from. You've got a lot of 64 win teams. Well, not a lot, but you've got teams that have won 64 games or more. Those teams tend to win the championship. And Oklahoma City did it for the 2nd year in a row. You're talking about 60% of the teams that have won 64 games or more in the regular season have gone on to win the title. So their backs are against the wall. And yeah, maybe they don't need to win. It may not be win or bust this year, but they need to at least match what they did last year or take another step forward. Like, I think that I consider it personally, unless context like a major injury or something. But personally, I'm going to consider the season a failure if we don't get to Game 7 of the Eastern Conference Finals.
Hey. Wow. Okay.
I like that.
Okay. Well, I'm interested in watching Mike Brown in the playoffs. I'm just curious just to see, and I said this, in the intro to the section, just curious to see the mid-game adjustments, the game-to-game adjustments, the lineups and things. I'm just curious because I don't know him. I haven't watched him, game in and game out. So it's just a lot of a lot of curiosity. I hear you, Geoff. I kind of think it's unfair to expect him to win it in one season, but you're right. He signed up for it. They let him know what the expectation was. He accepted the challenge, and that's what it is. But I think a lot of times when a team lose, the coaches get a lot of heat and a lot of blame. And I don't know the NBA schematically well enough to be able to say, if say they lose a game, was that the coach or was that the players missing shots, not executing, turning the ball over? So I guess my point is, if we don't get to the NBA finals, I don't know if we can automatically say it's Mike Brown. Like, I think we do have to look at it game to game. Who showed up, player wise? How did they shoot? Who turned the ball over? Like those sorts of things, matter. So yeah, it's gonna be interesting. Anything you saw in the regular season that you want Mike Brown to continue doing? Anything you saw in the regular season that you just want him to stop doing?
I'll say this. Second half adjustments have been phenomenal this year. I think from the first half to the second half is a clear difference of them seeing what went wrong and making adjustments. Continue with that. Please continue with that.
Anybody else?
I don't like playing Brunson the entire first and third quarter. Like I don't like sitting both Towns and Brunson at the same time. I think figure out a rotation, but I don't like that. I don't like how that looks on the floor, and I hope he doesn't go back to it. And I think you need to have one of your two best players on the floor at all times. I don't think there's any reason for us to have a lineup stagger it so that they can still get their rest. But I want to see our two best players on the court as much as possible for this playoff run.
Okay.
Yeah, I would like to see, and maybe it doesn't happen in the first round here, but I would like to see a little bit more Diawara get involved, because there's going to be some games, there's going to be some series that particular players is just not their series, right? So, for example, if Shamet has a bad series, bad matchup, then he might not play in a particular series. Maybe Diawara gets some time, and maybe he's a guy that can maybe light it up from three, maybe play some defense. I like what I saw from him this regular season, and it sucks that he's buried in the bench, because I think Deuce, Mitch, Shamet, and Clarkson are going to be your first four guys off the bench in the playoffs, and then you still got Alvarado, still out there. So I would like to see Diawara get some minutes, but I know that's going to be a slight possibility.
What do you think Diawara would bring beyond the obvious in terms of length?
Beyond the obvious, I think he can. I think he has also the ability to block shots in transition. I think he has the ability to set up fast breaks with his defense. Kind of the way Porzingis was with Boston a couple of years ago when he was healthy. I could see Diawara, maybe having an impact on the game like that.
Mm-hmm.
Well, like Nick Nation said before I got on, that's if the coach trusts in him and give him the opportunity. We got no height on that bench with them. He was bringing up some good points. So, but we'll see. I thought that he probably won't even touch the floor, to be honest with you, unless there's like fouls or anything. But I would love for Diawara to get minutes. He's still a deer with the headlights, but he runs the offense. He's someone that can be an initial front end defender. We've seen him, playing guards and guarding up and getting blocked. Great on the help defense, great length. It'd be phenomenal. Just probably won't see it.
But yeah, it's like I'm saying, it's slightly possible that we see him out there. But
why do you think you wouldn't see him? Why do you think Mike Brown may not go to him?
Experience.
He's gonna stick with his guys.
Yeah, it's experience.
See, I don't know if I buy to stick with his guys because he's played Diawara. He's played a lot of players have been. So it's not like Thibodeau where he has his set and that and that's it.
If everybody's healthy, right, Queen, and this is your team. This is playoff time. On average, 38 minutes. Where we putting Diawara? 2-minute spurt to I go hold my Gatorade for a second while I get in, and then he's back out. So I think that's ultimately it.
And Mike Brown even said, it's hard. Did you hear when he said it's hard to play 9? I was like, we can forget 10. He said it's hard to play 9 in the playoffs. So we might be getting 7.5 and 8.5 in terms of finals.
Did you see Philly's rotation in their game against Orlando?
Say that again.
Did you see Philly's rotation minutes in their game against Orlando? I think they played 8 guys, and I think almost all of their starters were at 40 minutes plus, except for Bona, because what's his name, Drummond played. He played really well, so he came off the bench, but he had starters minutes 31 plus. So. But Maxey 42 minutes, Edgecombe 40 plus minutes. So, and that's Nick Nurse. I mean, he's championship level coach. Like he won it with the Raptors. So,
I do think because it was a playing game and like, you had to go all out, had something to do.
I was going to say.
But even in a series, the minutes of your starters go up. And I think it's because the margins are slim. You be having somebody out there that's inexperienced turning the ball over and opportunity. Like it's just a risk a lot of coaches don't want to take. And then there are other coaches who are willing to, live with it and believe that they'll get positive minutes. But I think
you don't have to worry about second game of a back-to-back either. You're going to get a rest or a travel day, at least one between every game, and in some, I think we have one case where we'll get 2 days off in between games. So that's good news for Mitchell Robinson for sure.
Yeah, Mitchell be healthy. He doesn't have to play. He doesn't have to play back to back. Yeah, I don't think Diawara, Kolick, Sohan. Maybe will he put Sohan in for a few minutes if we play Detroit or if we play, Boston with Brown and Tatum? Will Sohan get some minutes? I wouldn't be surprised if he comes in and get a few minutes, but I think he's going to be super situational.
If we see any of them dudes, we either getting blown out or blowing somebody else out.
Hopefully that second thing. Let's do that second thing.
That's what I said.
So let's have a whole fourth quarter because we're up 25 where we can just run.
Because even Alvarado is out the line, out of the rotation.
Yeah, he's not getting burned.
And Clarkson was getting
what he got
12 minutes, 10 like 8 to 12 minutes as the ninth person, like ninth player. Yeah.
If you see Huck Porty, if you see Huck Porty, then there's a problem.
Nah, not in this series. Not this first series.
In any series, if you see Huck is on vacation. If you see him from this moment on, then some went wrong.
DopeSoulSports is gonna pop back in the chat. Pop back in the chat, make himself known.
Abandon ship.
I think the not having back-to-backs, I think we forget about the not having back-to-backs, and Mitchell Robinson could play every game now.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, some of the dudes that don't think that's going to play ain't playing. It's the playoffs.
Yeah. The last segment, we're going to talk about X factors and other things. I just want to get to, before we get out of here, the super chat. The art man, formerly known as Stick Steve, out here paying bills around here. We appreciate you. Evening, y'all. Long time it has been. Knicks unveiled the Cat and Brunson pick and roll, and it was unstoppable because of Cat's ability to shoot and drive and pass. Healthy Mitch and OG plus the pick and roll equals championship. Peace, love, and soul train. you know. Paris Doug, I appreciate you supporting the channel, paying bills around here. Brown had a better year and beat best teams all year. Facts.
Well, not Detroit and OKC, but other than that, the best teams.
Yeah. For sure. All right, let's close it out. Just talking about the rest of the team and in terms of who are you expecting to step up? You know, the bench is set with it seems like Shamet, Deuce, Clarkson, and Mitch. You know, those 9. So I know Knick Nation is not happy with the small guards in Mitch, but that's what it's going to be. Seems like 3 guard lineups, and he plays those 3 guard lineups with OG and Mitch. So he does put like defense behind, behind them. He doesn't seem to be concerned about having a floor general and Alvarado. I think he feels good that the system itself would work, and Shamet, Deuce, and Clarkson is good enough to to run actions and get some good looks on that second team. Talk to me about the bench. Confident, concerned, delusional.
Oh, I thought I was muted. It can go either way with the bench. And like you said, we've seen with Shamet has it going, and it's like, oh man, we would love him in the starting lineup, but then we see moments of where he's turning the ball over, can't knock down the shot. Deuce, I feel confident in. He had that last game against Charlotte, where I think he had like 18 by the third quarter. So if we can get Deuce going, I feel good. Even though Deuce do not know how to pass the rock in that pick and roll. That man is just offense. So that can be a hindrance for us as well. And Mitch, I've been advocating for Mitch all year. I said this would be one of Mitch's greatest years, and it's been proven a fact. So I feel good about Mitch. But overall, as a bench, I'm not feeling too confident because even with Jordan Clarkson, him getting into the paint has been money. But the 3-point shooting for him has just not been there. When he's pretty much driving kick and he's open, the 3 is not falling. And that's something that we kind of need to space the floor. He can attack and score with ease. And that's what I love about him. But if he's not doing that, then we need the 3-point to drop. But overall, we're going to see heavy minutes from our starting 5, and they're going to sprinkle the bench with the 5. And I think that's how we prevail. But I don't feel too confident with us going with that bench rotation and possibly OG because we've seen it in stretch. So where that's when we are a minus and we have to go back to Brunson ball. So not too comfortable.
Okay. So it's not necessarily that you're not confident in them individually. It's more about the lineups and how you maximize them, and don't put that 3-guard lineup out there with OG and Mitch. Okay. All right. Trey, confident in the bench, or feel the same way? Confident in individual players and maybe need to sprinkle them with the starters?
I am confident in the bench, not just because of the players and not just because Deuce is back and he looks like he's back to his old self, but I think the managing of the bench, I think, is where I'm more confident at. It's like I said earlier, one of these guys could have a bad series or a bad stretch of games, and Mike Brown may have to go to the 9th man, the 10th man, the 11th man, just depending on a particular matchup. So I feel confident that the management of the bench is there. If they see something's not working with a guy that's, the 8th, 9th guy, then I have all the confidence in the world that he's going to make that adjustment.
Okay. All right. Jerrell?
We just talk about the bench.
Yeah. Confident in that? Confident in it?
Yeah, I'm confident, especially we're just talking about the Atlanta series or just the playoffs in general.
Atlanta series.
Because the Atlanta series,
I'm confident in Atlanta, but once we move past Atlanta, I'm not very confident.
Yeah, the second round is a little bit different. But if we just talk about Atlanta, I mean, did we talk about anybody on their bench? Like who they got coming up? And plus, when it comes to
Kuminga and Kispert,
I love Kuminga. Kispert could be hit or miss, but if he's hitting, he can obviously.
He's always hitting against us. He sees that Knick uniform and he turns into Curry.
I can't even argue that. One big thing about our bench is going to be Mitchell Robinson. I mean, this is going to be one series that our backup center is better than their starting center to me. So I think with Mitch's defense, I think Deuce has already been seasoned in the playoffs, so he's a vet. Yeah, I trust him, especially against the Atlanta bench. Like once we get to the second round and going further, then maybe my confidence would be shaken a little bit. But against Atlanta, yeah, I'm fine with our bench. And the way that Mike Brown will manage it, I don't expect our bench to play a lot of minutes. I think this is the playoffs, and the rotation should be 8 or 9 people.
Yeah. Remember that we had the conversation about whether, he would go this OKC route when he first came in. Oh, in the playoffs, everything has changed. Indiana, OKC, we're going to be playing, 19 people, players. Mike Brown is old school in a lot of ways. And that's that.
He more like Tibbs than a lot of people realize for some reason.
Yeah.
They're really not that different in the way they coach, especially when it comes to their rotations and stuff. Like, I don't think our rotation is going to change much at all, except for get shorter.
Yeah. And I also think some of the difference we see in Brown is because of the collaboration with the front office.
Yeah.
Right. If they didn't ask him that, them players might have got may have had some longer minutes too. But kudos to him, that he wanted a relationship. Well, that was part of him being hired, having a relationship with the front office and them having some input.
About to say, I don't think they gave him much choice, Steph.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think that was mandated for him to get the job, or anybody else who wanted the job.
Yeah. And another thing, as an aside, that I think was mandated was the whole Sohan not getting a lot of minutes. Because if you would have saw Mike Brown at the Sohan press conference when they talked, when he talked about Sohan, and then right after not getting any minutes, I think the front office pulled him back from that, in my opinion. But anyway, any other questions about the bench before we get into the X factors and get out of here?
One thing I wanted to say about our bench is somebody in the chat, I think it was a Hawks fan, was like, if we're depending upon relying on Landry Shamet, we're in trouble. I think that's right. But guess what? We don't have to rely on Landry Shamet. If Landry Shamet is good, cool. If he's not, we can play Clarkson. We can play Deuce. We don't have, we have lineup versatility. That's the luxury of this bench, right? If they're, and that's the bench, right? You're not expecting, no team has their bench come through and pull through in all 4 games of a playoff series. That's not the role of the bench. Right. You want a simple shot in the arm here and there, and you can mix and match, and the Knicks have a lot of versatility. We can play big, we can play small, we can play fast, we can play slow, and we could play all defense, we can play with the Bam Bam unit, we could play all offense where we can't, where we're a bunch of traffic cones. We could do it any which way but loose, or any which way you can, whichever movie you would prefer. But the point is that versatility is nice to have, and yeah, we may not can rely on all of those guys, but we don't have to. Our starters are still going to be the lion's share of everything, but you hope that you can have a game like Campaign had in game 1 against Detroit last year, where he just kind of carried you for like it's 10-minute stretch. Well, Jordan Clarkson's capable of doing that. You know, he's a guy who can do those sorts of things. Or Deuce might get on one of his stretches where he just, you know, he's hot and he's making everything, and he's bringing the ball up maybe so Brunson doesn't have to if they're playing a, you know, small backcourt, for example, you know, and two big lineups sometimes with Mitch and Cat look much, much better throughout the course of the season. So maybe that's something we see from time to time. So, you know, I'm confident that if used correctly, the bench can be really, really good.
Yeah. And not just about bench versatility, just lineup versatility, period, from 1 to 9. And then look at our situational players. Look at the players that are not in the rotation that you can get positive minutes from. Alvarado can give you positive minutes. Diawara can give you positive minutes. If Kolek has to play, he can give you positive minutes. Like, you're not asking those guys to go out there and play 40 minutes. You're just asking them, if Brunson is injured, you know, can you come in? Well, not injured, get into foul trouble. Can you come in and spell him for 3 or 4 minutes and be a positive, right? We have players, you know, Sohan is not in the rotation, but can he come in and give you positive defensive minutes? I believe he can. So even the players outside of the rotation give Mike Brown some versatility. All right, let's get into the X factor. 2 hours and 20 minutes in, we haven't talked about OG, we haven't talked about Bridges, we haven't talked about Mitch. We'll do a lightning round real quick. Who's your X factor and why? Ajay.
You know, my X factor is the band we haven't talked about, OG Anunoby. We went through this the last couple of shows. I know Jerrell haven't been here for months. So, Jerrell, just a little update, Jerrell.
you worse than me, Jerrell?
Oh, what?
The Super Bowl.
We hired you part-time. He a full-time worker and not showing up.
He's union though, so it don't matter.
Trey, I forgot what he looked like. I'm like, who's this? Oh, it's Jerrell. But yeah, definitely, guy? I think OG Anunoby is going to have a huge impact on not just the Atlanta Hawks series, but the whole playoff rounds. He's going to be the guy. Like, he really, I think he's going to make a difference. If we get good OG Anunoby, we're gonna go far in the playoffs. And not to diminish what Josh Hart could bring to this team. He's very important to this team. But I think OG Anunoby could be more consistent and more reliable on both ends of the court. And that's why I think it's going to be our X factor.
Yeah, I think at this point, he might be our third best player.
Our third best player.
Third option. Yeah.
If he consistently stays that third best option, we're going to go deep into the playoffs.
I think he's going to have his hands full defensively with Jalen Johnson. I'm not sure we're going to be getting a whole lot from him on the offensive side of the floor in this first series. I'm just saying, I think Johnson's a handful. I'm not saying OG's incapable. I'm just saying he's going to be plenty busy on that side of the court.
Well, Geoff, I hope we get a lot from him on the offensive end, because that way Jalen Johnson could be just as busy, and we get diminished output from him on his offensive game.
Yeah,
I like it.
Yeah, good point. Geoff?
Well, I'm going to go with McCall. I got Bridges, you know, he's unsung. He's Iron Man. He's everybody's least favorite player. I think he's your least favorite player's least favorite player at this point. But I think Bridges can make a big difference with this team. I think in the playoffs, sometimes you need a guy who get those, you know, the shots that they give you in the playoffs, which are those mid-rangers that, you know, the Knicks aren't particularly fond of taking. But I think that he's a guy who can hit those little, you know, that little fadeaway in the paint. And I think that's going to be, I think one or two of those can make the difference between winning and losing. I think that CJ McCollum is a matchup defensively that he'll be comfortable with, because CJ's not a guy who's going to burn you with speed. Like, he's a really good shooter and he's got skills, but I think that's a I think that's a matchup where Bridges can thrive and maybe work off the ball and still contain his man a little bit. And I think that's going to be kind of important for us. And if he's guarding Dyson Daniels, which I don't think he should be, I think that should be Brunson's assignment. But if he is, he can probably play off of him too, because Daniels is many things. A good 3-point shooter is not one of them. So I think that this is an opportunity for Bridges to come up big. We saw it last year defensively, especially against Boston, with huge plays down the stretch. And I think this might be a Bridges series.
From your lips to Guard's ears is when you think about how he played to start the season. If we get that Bridges, whoo.
Well, I'm not promising all that now.
Jerrell?
Yeah, usually, Bridges was my X factor when he first got to the team, but I can't make him my X factor anymore just because of disappointment. But I want to go. I'm gonna go with Josh Hart because, especially if they don't guard him and he's actually hitting his shots. Like, this is the best 3-point shooting I've seen from Josh Hart since his entire life. I thought he was coming into the league with a broken finger and stuff, right? Like, what happened to that? So I'm gonna go with Josh Hart because I think he is the heart of the team. He can push the offense, especially on fast break, getting the rebound and stuff like that. He can handle the ball. Everybody knows what Josh Hart does, and I think his intangibles is going to be one of the main reasons we go far in the playoffs, at least hopefully.
And I hope he gets back to that, though, because I do think there's been some times when he's been more focused on the offense than the all-around, his all-around game. And I do think we're gonna need that in the playoffs. And you're right. If they're sagging off of him and they're playing, they're big on him, and he's knocking down shots.
Yeah, I need triple-double Josh to make
yes.
I need some of that.
The everything Josh. That he just out there junkyard dogging. Like, that's what we need.
That's what we need in the playoffs.
Yeah. Trey, who's your X factor?
My X factor is Bodega Cat, Karl-Anthony Towns. And we've seen a lot of inconsistency this regular season. Him not getting the ball. Sometimes you see the 5 points in the first half of games and he's not taking enough shots and things like that. Cat he has to average a double-double in these playoffs.
10 and 10 or 2010?
2010.
Okay.
2010. And I think the most underrated thing about Cat's game is that when you do get him in pick and roll situations, he can pass. He can get other guys better shots. So I think that opens it up for everybody else. But Cat, for me, is a huge X factor because I think he's going to be critical in how far, this team can go. Atlanta's front court is not that great. Boston, if we get there, their front court's got questions, moving even further past that. I don't think we're going to see a dominant front court in these playoffs. And I think Cat has a chance to be the best big man in the East in these playoffs.
Facts. Yeah. Knick Nation.
Well, first of all, I want to start out with a timeout because Steph, I don't think you're still on Africa time and you've been eating French fries and pineapples, in front of the class and not sharing. I'm on this show with you too. It's been 2 hours and change.
Mangoes.
Oh my God! And mangoes, those are my favorites. Oh my, that's not right. First of all, that's not right. Then you're gonna, clarify it was mangoes. Oh, especially when the juices for forget it. All right.
And these are really sweet too.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh, see, you're a terrible person.
That's the way to eat them, though.
So for me, I'm gonna hedge my bets. I'm gonna say mine is Mitch Deuce Mitch. So that's for me. I think with those two guys, they both have deep playoff experience. Them coming off in the second unit, what they can bring for the team, and the spark that both of them bring. When those two, I think, are on and those two are playing well, I think that it just overwhelms teams. I think it's just that much of a boost. Often where we look at those two guys where we may be down, 4 points, all of a sudden, we up 8, It's things like that really get me hyped off those two guys. So Mitch Deuce Mitchell for me. And if they just live up to what they typically do, we win. I just think that's just what's the is. I think Mitch, first of all, slows down. He's so important for me is because when he comes in, he slows teams down because this is a get out quick and run team. But if you got to keep an extra guy in there to say, here, labor this guy off, from getting these rebounds. And then to look at the heart of the teams that when he does get the offensive rebound and kicks it back out, and when he pulls that off, you can see like instantly a lot of times if you notice that you see, as Knicks fans, we should have watched those habits because once it happens once or twice, you initially always see, I love it because a coach is going to call a timeout. And that lets me know right off the bat, got him. We got him from here. So hopefully I see a lot of that. And, and Deuce is like, hey, Deuce is that boost for us. So for me, it's Mitch Deuce Mitch. So I'm cheating a little bit. Another
we
timeout.
got 7 people on the panel, and he had the nerve to pick 2 players.
That's how I get down. That's how I get down.
That's why you don't get no mangoes, man. No mangoes for you.
I'm a selfish bastard. It's late where I can curse a little bit. I'm a selfish bastard.
I don't know if there's anybody left, Delusional. If you want to piggyback off of what somebody else said.
Well, yeah, I mean, no one took my guy anyway. I'm leaning. Sorry, somebody was talking.
No, man.
Oh, okay, sorry.
Yours.
I was leaning towards the bench, and I was thinking of Landry Shamet. I think he's the X factor. His 3-point shooting can open up a lot. We know what our starters are going to do. They're going to produce, but there's going to be stretches in time period where we need others to produce. And he's going to be on the floor, I think, at pivotal, crucial time period. His spacing, his defense, like Mike Brown spoke highly about him, saying like he's probably one of our best defenders on the team with getting over the screens. And Atlanta does run a lot of pick and roll. And they're very wing heavy. So he's going to have to guard certain wings. Now he's short. That's going to be a disadvantage on the Atlanta end. But I think his 3-point shooting is going to be pivotal when they get to match up against Atlanta shooting, because I think Atlanta really is going to key on their 3-point shooting. So at least if we can keep that as a negative with our shooting being up to par with them, I think that'll be the X factor.
Yeah, that's a great point. I'm gonna go with Clarkson. That playoff experience he has, the ability to create for himself and to create for others. A lot of times in the playoffs, things get bogged down, and the defense tightens up. And when you have a lot of guys who are successful at playing off of other guys, but yet the ball isn't moving, the team isn't in rotation, they're not getting, open looks. You need somebody that can put the ball on the floor and create. And we don't have a lot. I would say Brunson, Clarkson, and Bridges. Even though Bridges is capable, a lot of times he's not assertive enough, but he's definitely capable. Clarkson is one of those guys who's willing, and he has a lot of playoff experience from Utah, playing with Rudy Gobert, Donovan Mitchell. He's getting like 8 to 12 minutes, but he's in that rotation. And one thing about Mike Brown, and I think he did it just in one of the last few games, Clarkson played 8 minutes in the fourth quarter. He played the third most minutes in the fourth quarter, and I think he was 3 or 4. And Mike Brown saw that. Oh, this guy's, he's hitting the shots, he's making things happen. Let's leave him in longer. So Mike Brown, does that, and we might need him to play more minutes than he was originally slated to play. And I think he's more than capable. Yeah.
He also helps out a lot in the second chance opportunities. Like he's always in the right spot, getting the tips in on the offensive board. So
yeah, and there will be no fear. There will be no bright lights issues with Clarkson, and his defense has been, much better. Like, I'm just really. This is who I don't know if we thought we was getting this defense though, but
this not as bad as we thought. His defense,
huh?
His defense not as bad as we thought it was going to be.
Much better.
It's gotten much better. I don't know if I expected this though, where it's at now when we signed him.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's the X factor, and actually throughout the course of the playoffs, period, not just Atlanta, we're gonna need some Clarkson games as things tighten up. So yeah. Predictions, not just who wins, but in how many games. We're gonna go delusional, and we'll go around like a snake. Delusional, Nick, Trey, Ajay.
Knicks and 6.
Knicks and 6. Nick Nation.
We win 3 straight. We win 3 straight. Atlanta wins. Knicks wins.
So we going 7 then.
No, we win 3 straight. Atlanta win, then the Knicks
then
win.
we win. Okay, so 5.
That's 5 then.
5. Yeah.
And then of course, yeah. So 3 straight. Oh yeah, you're right. So yeah, we do it in 5.
I know it's late. It's late.
Yeah. No, I was too. I thought it was going 7.
Promise, no math.
I'm gonna say
I got another condition.
I'm gonna be extra hopeful and say Knicks in 5. Yeah, no real rhyme or reason. I'm a fan, and I'm a put that out in the atmosphere. That's my reasoning for it.
All right, Trey.
I'm gonna go Knicks in 6. I think the Knicks will stub their toe one of these games.
Facts.
2 of them apparently.
Yeah.
Well, I think the other one they'll lose legitimately. I think.
Okay.
I think the other one they'll find a way. Maybe like a game 5. They might stub their toe in a game 5 at home closeout situation.
Ajay.
Knicks in 6. We're gonna get scared a little bit because probably the first 2s go 1-1, but then we go down to Atlanta also 1-1, and then we win the next 2. So at some point it'd be tied at 2-2, and then we take the next 2 and call it a series.
Geoff.
Well, the team that I'm going to go out on a limb and say the team that wins 4 games is going to take the series. That's all you're getting out of me, Queen.
Okay. Knicks in 6. Knicks in 6. I'm with Trey. I think they're going to stump their toe in a game that they should have won, and I also think there'll be a game where the Knicks process is not great, and they're not taking advantage of some advantage that they have. So I'll say Knicks in 6. Jerrell.
Knicks in 4. Sweet.
Oh.
Just because all y'all
my guy.
That's
my guy right there. That's my guy. That's my guy.
And if I'm right, I get to come back and tell you I told you so. Like Delusional came back on us.
I'm ready for it. I'm here for it, Jerrell. I'm here for it.
Jerrell, you got Delusional came back. He ran home from work, took a quick shower, like
He was 3 states away. He traveled by map to get home.
No.
Buffed his head up, got a good shine on there. He
was like, "Please, I was right." He's apologizing. Oh, let me get in here. Otherwise, he would have been just listening. He was like, "No, let me get in the room." All right, that's everybody.
Yes, everyone.
That is everybody. All right. Well, 2 hours, 40, almost 40 minutes. I appreciate y'all. Jerrell, Geoff, Ajay, Delusional, Nick Nation, Trey, and Delusional coming in and helping us out today. Part of the fam. So we appreciate you guys. Yeah.
Pleasure to meet you. Yep.
Oh, is this the first time? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, likewise. Yeah.
Always welcome.
Always
Trey,
welcome.
tell me about what you got going on, bro.
Yeah, so shout out to the big homie Sim, the podfather of Nothing But Knicks.
100%.
I debuted a brand new Knicks podcast a couple of nights ago. It's called Gotham Grit. It's going to be a wonderful podcast. We're going to have some fun, you know, interacting with the chat, have a few guests come on and, you know, share stories of, you know, Knicks fandom. And, you know, as the name Gotham Grit sticks out, I'm going to highlight the grittiest plays in these games. So I want to be able to, you know, turn this into a fun podcast where we just, you know, interact with everyone. And, you know, I hope to bring some content creators on as guests, you know, maybe some media members as well. And then, you know, fans of other teams that, you know, the Knicks play, hope to bring on their content creators and their media. So, you know, first show was good. It was only 26 minutes, but, you know, definitely looking forward to next week's second episode.
What day and time?
Tuesdays at 10 o'clock p.m. Eastern time.
Okay.
Nice.
Okay.
Tuesdays 10. Okay.
Yep. And I also have my regular, you know, weekly podcast, the Barbershop Sports Talk podcast. That's myself and my guy, Maestro Styles, from DC. We do a weekly podcast and we talk everything, NFL, NBA, boxing, WNBA, you name it.
Yeah, how's he doing with the state of Washington over the past 10 years? I mean, like, is he holding up all right?
And I tried to give him a little bit of hope with the Trae Young trade and the Anthony Davis move. You know, we'll see what happens with them. But, you know, this is not his time of year.
Yeah. Tell him I said, hey.
I will.
All right. Anybody who wants to host the show with me Sunday, let me know. It would have to be early though, because I'm going to be heading out. So right after the show to get on the road. So
when you say early, what do you mean early?
She always on the move. Queen, where you going?
I'm going back to Georgia. So I'm driving Saturday. I didn't even know the game was at 6. I'm thinking regular time, 7:30. So I'm gonna have to get on the road early to get to Rocky Mount. And then Sunday, I would like to do the show at 9 a.m. so I can be on the road by 10 to do the rest of the trip. Me and my auntie is going on a cruise. Just a weekend cruise, and so I got to get that premium internet, you know.
It's good to be rich. Cruises, Africa, the second cruise. What?
Listen,
could be rich. Could be rich.
This is my life. Like I'm going to downsize, and I'm gonna have me a home base, and I'm going to be traveling for weeks and months at a time. Come back, relax for a little bit before I go out again. I got to see the world before I'm breaking down already. My knee done flared up from being on the Disney cruise with these.
Them kids had you working, didn't they?
It ain't right yet. I'm like, okay, whatever little active traveling, I'm gonna have to get this in the next 3 years because I'm not what I used to be. But
your nieces had you working, huh?
Oh my goodness! In a contained ship. Can you imagine Disney World? I was thinking about it. I can't do. I'm too old for Disney. I can't do Disney World. I just can't. I can't do it.
That's a lot.
Wow,
that's a lot.
Yeah,
that's days and days and days of that too.
Yeah, I can't do it. Yeah.
Where's everybody watching the game?
Say that again.
What's your plans? Where's everybody watching the game? I'm gonna be in the city Saturday through Sunday.
Home. I'm too crazy to be outside. Are you kidding me? You wilding out.
Yeah.
I look crazy.
You one of them, huh?
Yeah. I look crazy when I'm outside watching the game. Good thing people can't hear me.
That's right. If the Knicks expect a 24-hour plus dope. So if the Knicks win the chip, I'm not sleeping for a minute.
Bro. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
What
did you guys think about LaMelo? Anybody have any thoughts on him?
What did something happen recently?
The dirty play.
On
no,
Bam,
AJ didn't have a problem with it.
he got suspended.
No, he should.
No, he got fined.
He should have been fined.
He got fined.
He should have been suspended though. He should have been suspended this game here. That's a
Didn't
direct
suspend Joel
dirty
Embiid
play that
and Embiid
directly
was hurt.
resulted in an injury. I believe if you do something that's outside of basketball, that is outside of a basketball play, and directly causes a player injury, you should be suspended.
Man, listen, that's mad politically correct, bro. Listen, he did it to Bam Adebayo, who been hurting people all around the league, man. Shit, I'm all good.
I get it. I agree. I
LaMelo hurt him.
I said Bam. I said, I can't even get upset.
I can.
I just think that there should be a standard set
I'm
that
like-
this kind of stuff shouldn't be allowed. Because when it happened to us, I felt the same way. That hey,
no doubt.
these guys do it directly like that, you should be suspended.
Yeah. Well, they fined him for grabbing his leg, and they also added an extra fine for him cussing at the post-game presser. And y'all know the cussing fine was the extra for not throwing them out originally in the game.
Yeah.
But it's the advantage for me. So if you know what I mean? I believe it was early in the first quarter. I believe,
And that was
right?
a great game. I mean, a great game.
If you're a hoops fan, man, that was a game to watch. I don't care if you had
They
no
were
dog
going
in
at
that
it.
fight.
Portland game wasn't too shabby neither. Now
That was good too.
Portland
that was
Phoenix
good,
game
too.
was plenty good.
Portland Phoenix
Eddie
was good.
Abidal was just going off. I think he had
But
41.
Charlotte, Miami was very low IQ basketball, at least on the Charlotte side. Because there was a stretch where they was bricking threes in that second half.
But that's how they play, though. That's how they play, Trey. That's just
I know.
Con usually makes them though. He couldn't hit water if he fell out of a boat, and LaMelo was like 2 for 40 from 3.
Yeah, Con got benched.
I watched the Warriors and Clippers game too. That was good.
Yeah, that one was good.
That was good.
That was good too.
And LaMelo punched the mascot too, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
Like after
Now
the game,
you just snitch. Now you just snitching.
No, I'm
His own mascot.
His own mascot.
It was on camera.
Now you just snitching.
His own mascot.
It's just a dry snitch. It's a regular dry snitch. That's different.
And that Charlotte Miami game, and all of them, really, you really got to see how different the playoffs are from the regular season. Like teams, when I turned it on, I don't think I turned the Miami game until like the third quarter. I'm like, look at Miami looking like they, like they limped into the playoffs, and look at them without Bam, how they're playing down the stretch. That was a great competitive game. This is what the playoffs are going to be.
They were down by like 9 or 10 points, and Davion Mitchell by himself, he went on 10-0 run, put him up by a point. All by himself. He's like, he just went nuts for like a good 3-4 minutes.
Tough kid.
Wiggins played some good ball.
Wiggins
was
too.
Awesome.
Yeah, Wiggins too. Yeah. It's playoff basketball. That's what I'm saying. We think we know who the Hawks are. Ratchet that up, a little bit more. And the same for the Knicks.
Well, they think.
All right, y'all. I gotta go. I'm sorry. It's 12:02. I'm really hungry. And y'all are pulling a Ron.
That time, man.
Ron's our guy now. We got.
Oh yeah, I'm always with him.
The highest form of flattery,
It's my guy, but whoa, I'm hungry right now.
It's Blue Drew on Sunday. Yes. Yeah. All right.
Yeah, that's it.
Appreciate you guys. Until next time.
Peace.
Oh, I think I did the wrong thing.
Sister, you one of a kind.
Yes.
Sister, it's time you
That's her.
shine. Dope Soul.
Where you at?